Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the Champions Cup final between the Northampton Saints and Bordeaux. Now, this game, I'll be honest, the sides in this final not necessarily supposed to be there in terms of at the start of the season. Yes, Bordeaux have been absolutely phenomenal, but the fact that there's no Leinster and there's no Toulouse, it means that there's a massive opportunity for these two sides. The Saints, they weren't supposed to win at the Aviva, but they did by the narrow margin, and that has booked them the spot that they're in for this contest. Looking through at the starting lineups, of course, since those games, we have heard the British and Irish Lions announcement, and it means that Henry Pollock in that number 8 jersey, he was absolutely phenomenal in that game up against Leinster, and now he gets his chance to head to Australia to see what he can do with the Lions. Looking through at the rest of the backline, I mean, Tommy Freeman, that man scores tries for fun. Dingwall and Hutchinson in the midfield is a very impressive combo. And then Finn Smith, the youngster, he's got plenty of potential. He's got plenty of vision too, and that is exactly what they're going to need up against Bordeaux, as those guys know how to score tries. And normally they score quite a few of them when they do get the one. But looking through at this Bordeaux side. Now, because this is on neutral territory, it does mean that no one necessarily has the home field advantage. Neither of these sides normally playing in Wales due to either of their competitions. Of course, this is Gallagher Premiership taking on French Top 14, but this is the lineup that they have gone with for this contest. Maxime Lucu, a man who is extremely capable of taking hold of this game. And I mean, when you look through at that back three of Biarri alongside Damien Pinot, there were concerns that that man may not even be able to play in this contest initially after the last match. He did have a bit of an injury, but he's 100% and he's ready to go in this final. Buros and number 15, and then of course Mofana, Jalabert, two men to keep an eye on with Samu at the back, the big Aussie alongside Coleman. It's also from Australia. It's a very international side, this one of Bordeaux. And like I said, both of these sides more than capable of winning this final. The Challenge Cup final happened not too long ago between Bath and Lyon. That was also France versus England. That one went to Bath. So can the Saints do the same here and take home the Champions Cup? Looking through at the previous results for these two sides. Of course, their semi-finals are at the top of the bunch. Northampton getting themselves the 37 points to 34 win over Leinster. They had a dream first half in that matchup, but just continued playing in that same fashion. It was incredible to watch as they pretty much just took the Aviva out of it. They just went out to play some phenomenal rugby, and they didn't really slow down. To Leinster's credit, they were able to fight back, and maybe there were a couple decisions that they got wrong, but they made the most of it. The Saints, they are just showing the highlights of Bordeaux versus Toulouse. That is a game that at times Bordeaux had quite the hefty lead, and at the end of the match it was also separated by quite a margin. 17 points, something that maybe some wouldn't have anticipated seeing those two sides after the first half. But in terms of their other matches, we have seen a loss since then for Bordeaux up against Montpellier, 46 points to 27, but they beat Castres in a close game last week, 34 points to 29. The Saints have continued their form since that semi-final, beating Northampton. They actually lost the Exeter, I should say, but they're managing to get themselves the win over Saracens. So they've kind of done the opposite of what Bordeaux have. Rather than going from a loss to a win, they've gone, I meant the same thing. They've done the same. They both lost straight afterwards because, of course, you go for your secondary side and then you go in and you get yourself a win the weekend after. But as my brain starts to warm up, it is currently 1:35 a.m. here in New Zealand, ladies and gents. What time is Stormers game next week, says Mohadeen. They have announced the quarterfinals of the URC. I believe the Stormers are the second game. Or actually, no, they might be the first game, yeah. So they're Glasgow versus Stormers, 6:35 a.m. on Saturday morning for us here in New Zealand. That is an 8:35 p.m. kickoff for you guys in South Africa on Friday night. Where do you think this game will go? Honestly, Northampton, they've built up some really nice consistency at times. But then also, we've got to remember, on the Premiership table, I think they're about 7th or 8th at this current point in time, which means this is pretty much what their season consists of. It is either going to be a success if they manage to win the Champions Cup, even getting through to the final, I think would be regarded as a success, definitely with them missing out on the Premiership playoffs. Whereas for Bordeaux, they've still got quite a bit left in terms of what is to come for their season. We've actually got the upcoming results as well. Here, they have got 2 more games of the French Top 14, and then that is not including the playoff games that Bordeaux will be a part of afterwards, but they've got Toulon in the next week's game, whereas for Northampton, as you can see, they've just got Gloucester. So, yeah, separate in terms of what's to come. So, if all of the eggs are in the Northampton basket in terms of what direction they're wanting their season to go, and the fact that the Champions Cup can be their sole focus, they can be dangerous. But then I think they also thrive with being such big underdogs. We saw that in the game up against Leinster. They absolutely loved the hostile environment of going over to Ireland and trying to somehow cause that upset, which they were able to do. But I do think that Bordeaux, for me, are favourites. As it Stormers' last game, well, that depends. It's a quarter-final, so if they win it, they have a semi. Well, it's semi-final. I should reword that. If they win that, they have a final. So maximum Stormers have 3 games left. But if they lose their next game, that's done and dusted. If they lose the one after that, that's the season over. So it's all up to the Stormers. If they win their games, they can keep on playing. If they lose, unfortunately, no more matches for the Stormers until the next URC. Bordeaux will win. Says Tiger XI, or XI, is that Tiger 11 maybe, in that case. And we have got there who's going to win, Hamish. I'm just here for the final. Says Salah, I hope it's close. And I hope it's one of those ones that even after 70 minutes, we can't decide who's going to win because they're just going back and forth. Like I said, Bordeaux, they come in as favourites. They are the type of side that if they take hold of this game early, Northampton can be, like I said, a bit of a momentum team. And, you know, if you're down by 15 or so early on, maybe that's too much for them to be able to fire back. But, like, looking through at the side, once again, like, you can't rule them out because they have an absolutely phenomenal backline. Like Tommy Freeman, that man, you know, give him a double in the second half and that changes momentum. Finn Smith finds a couple gaps alongside Mitchell and that can switch the momentum in their favour too. Furbank at the back. James Ram out on the wing. And then the 4-pack as well. Henry Pollock, that man's got a bit of X factor. And, you know, a lot of people are extremely high on that guy at the moment. And they're looking forward to seeing what he does in the Lions store. The biggest concern, of course, in this case would be for him anyway. Like, I don't think he's going to do it, but you don't want to see him get injured from going too hard out here to then lose his spot on the Lions store. Luckily, I don't think we've had too many guys get injured as of yet since the announcement, but it can still happen. Still a couple weeks. You never know which injuries are going to be popping up in playoff matches. But if that is the case, then we'll see a few sides still rotating a bit. Back 3 for Bordeaux is absolutely insane. The fact that Biel, Biarré, Damien Pinot and Buros are somehow on the same team at the same time in the same lineup is incredible. Maxime Luku also thrown in there. Pete Samu, Huido Pete and Diaby in the loose forward trio. And Jalabert and Mofana also in the back line alongside Deportier. But this one's only going to be about 5 minutes away from the kickoff, ladies and gents. Hello, everyone. An unlikely final. Love it. Says Sebastian. And when are the Sharks playing? Says Mohadeen. They are also playing in the URC quarterfinals. They are up against Munster, taking place at 4:30 a.m. New Zealand time on Sunday morning. So that is 6:30 p.m. for you in South Africa on Saturday. Saints more than capable of winning this, but mistakes must be minimal. Bordeaux will punish any loose play. Yep. And they're lightning quick. We saw that at the start of the second half up against Toulouse. How Biarré scored, I want to say it was within 60 seconds. In fact, it almost might have been within 30 that they were just able to get that ball, rip it away, and manage to get themselves a try. Hi, Hamish. I appreciate your commentary because I'm watching this on S4C, the Welsh language channel. Says Geza. Yeah, that might be a little bit challenging. I haven't learned any Welsh myself. Fleshin's been trying to teach me every once in a while, and I feel like at times he gets frustrated because I don't pronounce a single thing right. But we're getting there. This is too late for me. Thought I'd at least stop by to say goodnight. Have a good one, mate. Says Kano, well, we do appreciate you popping in. Yeah, it is a pretty late one for us here in New Zealand. Hopefully you have enjoyed the rugby over the weekend. We saw some close games on Friday night for Super Rugby, some not so close games. Well, one in particular not very close game happening on the Saturday. But crowd at the Principalities looking relatively full. Looks like a good turnout for this matchup. He appreciates the effort, says Sebastian there. This is going to be hopefully one of those games that, just like, I would say one of the playoff matches, it's probably a fair statement, one of the playoff matches for the Champions Cup, including the quarters, I think only one of them has been actually quite close. Oh no, Toulouse had a close quarter, didn't they? But other than that, we've seen some pretty one-sided results, much more one-sided than we did think would be. So, g'day Hamish, winners kickoff in about 4 minutes' time. We are going to be underway for this one. Great venue for any big game, but I've only been once, and hello all, says Pads and Blaze, welcome in. And one Super Rugby game was a one-sided slaughter. I think everyone knows which one. Says Geza in there as well. I actually only saw the Western Force Brumbies score at half-time, which is why I corrected myself if one game was close, one wasn't. What did it end up? Oh, Waratahs. Okay, so 7 points scored in that second half. That's a little bit disappointing compared to what the score was at halftime. When a Sevens playing again, a wee while will they show an actual game. Sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio gets you taken straight off YouTube. But if you've got a VPN, you can set yourself to Wales and you'll be able to watch it on S4C. If you're already in Wales, then that's perfect. And you just go on S4C, you'll be able to watch it for free. Even if you just want to sign up to a free trial for a VPN, doing that will also give you the chance. If you shut up and show game, you obviously don't know how copyright works, Steve. Any match footage or audio would get me banned off YouTube, possibly sued, but we'd get a 3-month holiday, so that would be quite nice. But yeah, unfortunately, you have to watch it on S4C. All the other options, there are actually quite a few showing the Champions Cup for free tonight, which is brilliant news. All you got to do is know where to look. We have got the Hi Hamish. Where is this game taking place? It's at the Principality Stadium, so actually a neutral ground for these two sides. And Cardiff says Geza in there too. And hi all from Dalian, North China. Bordeaux will take this one, says Wayno. So it is great to see you for this one. I'll help you shut up, says Pads Blaze. I assume that you've just timed him out. He wasn't too bad. It could have been worse, to be fair. If you're already in Wales, don't give up hope. You know how to offend whole nations with one sentence, don't you, Seb? But they are just showing Northampton in the tunnels. And Maxime Luku making his way out onto the field for Bordeaux. He is an outstanding player, often overshadowed by a certain French 9, but he's going to get his chance, hopefully, to shine in the near future during the absence of Antoine Dupont. We see just a focused face at the moment from both of these sides. They know how big this opportunity is. It may be one of those chances that only come once in a decade, if not longer. So they have to make the most of it. Henry Pollock, they are showing him making his way onto the field. He is at an absolutely insane 2025. He's managed to make the Lions and now gets a chance of winning a Champions Cup final. Did you see Bath versus Lyon yesterday? I did. A little bit more one-sided, unfortunately, than I think a lot of people would have liked to see. Definitely with some of the close games we've seen for the Challenge Cup in recent rounds. But yeah, I think Bath were just in control for most of that one. Loving your commentary as always. A bit strange not having a South African team here, but I'm rooting for the Saints. See, here's Robert there. They are just showing Louis Biel Bayari and Henry Pollock. He's been the guy that they've shown quite often throughout the build-up here. Finn Smith is probably another one that they should be showing. Managed to make the Lions. Phenomenal player. Can Northampton repeat their performance of last week, says Seller? Is that the last week up against Saracens, or you're talking about last round up against Leinster? Because either way, they were both wins by narrow margins. And here, lads, anyone know how I can watch it in Dubai? Do you have a VPN, James? Because that might be your best option. But another great option is on the Champions Cup website. They've got a where to watch section, which has a whole heap of countries listed. And then it lets you know exactly what your option is. And some of them are free, some of them aren't. That's where the VPN can help you out just a little bit to get to a country that is free, much quicker than a plane ride, do have to say. Although Dubai Airport, from all accounts, is actually a very nice one. And what did the Chiefs have tonight before their game? Because that was just a demolition. Yeah, they were on fire. Glad that Finn Russell has a few more medals for his career. says Geza, but the crowd are really getting loud at the moment as the kickoff for the Champions Cup final of 2025 is 3 seconds away. But the Northampton Saints kicking this one off. Finn Smith gets us underway. Oh, and a bit of a fumble already from Bordeaux, which gives Northampton the possession, so they will have to make the most of it. Check and run from Timo Mainavanua. Mitchell goes off to Henry Pollock. I'm expecting about 20 touches from that man throughout this contest, as are all Northampton supporters. Sitting 25 metres out from the line already, we hear Bordeaux supporters singing. Question is, will they be singing at the end of the 80 minutes? Already a chance for a turnover there in the breakdown from Bordeaux, but let go now. Finn Smith goes in behind, finds Dingwall, passing on the outside. Furbank with a wide cutout pass. And Hutchinson trying to go over the top of Biarri. Mitchell on the inside to Timo Mainavanua. They're 10 metres out from the line now for this Northampton side. They are looking very structured at the moment, not making too many mistakes on attack. They have to be clinical. Oh, Jalabert gets in there, steals the ball for Bordeaux, but the penalty goes the way of Northampton. Alex Mitchell taking the quick tap, showing aggression early, but he is absolutely smashed backwards by Maxime Luku, who was offside. So they've given away the penalty there, Bordeaux again, 2 in a row going against them, but currently Mitchell, he is on attack. He gets it away on the left-hand side. They are getting closer to the post, and they are pretty much directly in front of them at the moment for the Saints. Mitchell goes across to the right-hand side, trying to reach out there. Was Curtis Langdon, but just one too many metres. Mitchell milks the penalty, gets another advantage for his Northampton side. Now back across to the right. That is close. Very close, but he's turned over on his back. Oh, he's claiming it. And the ref has awarded it. Northampton strike in 2 minutes. And Cheers says James and Saints defend well. They're 5 metres, or on their 5 metre, but Bordeaux score from further out. And we have got the, I had Moana by 13 because I was hoping for an upset, but I'm a bit far from an upset. Says Bads in up the Blues, thanks Chiefs. Says a rugby itch. Yeah, kept the season alive, I think is the best way of describing it. That one has gone over. And that now makes the score 7-0 for Northampton Saints. Josh Kimmeny there, I believe, was the man who eventually wrestled it down. He did get himself a yellow card. In fact, no, sorry. It was, in fact, Alex Coles who managed to get that grounding and did well to get that down. Yeah, it looked like he was going to be held up for all money, but just wiggled, got the arm free. And I mean, his arms are about as long as anyone's in this matchup. Oh, hang on. A little bit of an injury here for the Saints by the sounds of it. Looks like we might already be dealing with a blood bin, and we are only 3 minutes in. Right. Oh no, it's more than a blood bin. That is a bad limp. Oh, that's going to be James Ram off the field with some sort of ankle injury or lower leg, but it does mean that Slate Home makes his way onto the park already. And come on, Northampton, says Sebastian. And I'll tell the Canes to lose, so Moana get through. Says Beds ablaze, but that one's going to be kicked downfield. And it has gone into touch. But the good news about the Waratahs winning, yes, a lot of people are looking at that Waratahs Blues game as it's the opportunity for the Blues to make the top 6. But the good news is the Tars have now put themselves in a position where they can actually go through as well, which is quite cool, rather than it just being like one side's fighting for the spot, the other side are fighting to stop them. Now Maxime Luku going off to the left-hand side. This is where Bordeaux are dangerous. Anytime they get a little bit of open space and go for a set piece, that one's going to go, oh. Okay, no choice there but to just wrestle that one, or at least run that one into touch for Northampton. It was a precise kick in behind from Jalabert. And it does mean now that Bordeaux will have themselves a line out from probably only about 7 metres out from the line. But we see it there just having to be a little bit strategic with his planning, and Furbank just running it over the sideline. Big loss, says Jimbo. Do you think Pete Samu could play for the Wallabies? Honestly, like if they don't have any sort of thing that stops him, oh, beautiful inside ball to Bialberry. But yeah, if he's available without contract pretty much problems, absolutely. He's one of the best 8s that Australia could put on the field at the moment. And now going off to the right-hand side. I know Ben Tamefuna in the starting lineup. Instead, they have got Falatia as the starting 3, but currently only about 3 metres out from the line here for Bordeaux. Northampton have to make sure their defence is on point, but Bordeaux love crashing over with the forwards. They love shoveling it out wide, trying the spin move there, and he's been held up once again. The Bordeaux lock. Ball's come out the side. Looks like Guido Petti was asking for a penalty. Maxime Luku is getting the cross kick in, running forward, trying to do any... Oh, that's a really, really ugly knockout. The game's going to be they're going to have to stop this. He pretty much took a knee right to the face. I don't want to say it was intentional from the Bordeaux player, but that was really bad. That was like a clean knockout. Pretty much what happened is they went up for the ball, the Northampton Saints. I think it was George Furbank went up for it. Might have even been Tommy Freeman. I'm not actually too sure, but he lay on the ground, and as he sat up, he got a knee right to the head. Ah, that's bad. I really hope that's not intentional. Tell you what, that looks very dirty from BORDEAUX. I hope it wasn't, but man, if that was, that's a 6-week ban at least. He's pretty much, if it isn't going to be a penalty, okay, they're going back for the advantage, but that's one of those ones that it's just because of the bounce of the ball, they've ruled that surely you go round him, don't you? Like, don't get me wrong, when you're moving that quick, it's hard to change direction, but something didn't look right about that one. And he's going to be down. They've got the oxygen on him at the moment. He's in a really bad way, George Furbank, and that's already 2 blows for Northampton. They've lost 2 backs in just a short amount of time. I don't think they'll be showing too many replays of it because it does look very serious. And Furbank, I do hope will be all right. We have got the eye. Everyone says Lilia B. I think Northampton were just kind of looking at that one, asking the question, could he have avoided them? And unfortunately, I think he could have, but yeah, really not a nice challenge at all. Are they checking this? They said straight away that it's just a rugby incident. But yeah, from the wide angle, it was just that little half glimpse down that BORDEAUX did that made it look a lot worse, I think. Because he kind of went and then boom, knee straight to the head of the grounded player. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt and say accident. Should not have tried to hurdle him, says Studs Race. Yeah, I want to say for BORDEAUX, maybe he was working on the theory he was going to stay lying down, but you can't risk that. But yeah, hopefully he's going to be all right, George Furbank, but he won't be playing for a few weeks, I would say. But we are just seeing the replay of the try here. It's from Alex Cole. So already they've lost James Ram and George Furbank, 2 players who have more than enough capabilities. There are like 3 water bottles over the goal line from that try. I didn't actually notice that the first time, but people have got like water bottles hidden near the post. And Saints have worked so hard to get Furbank ready. He could have ran around him, shouldn't have tried to hurdle him. Yeah. Like he had time. And the way the ball was bouncing, it was never going to stay in a direct line with where BORDEAUX was. I hope they take him to hospital. I honestly think that they might have to, with the fact that they stuck the oxygen mask on him straight away. Like, sometimes when you get a connection like that, like, you can brace, but he was already like half by winded from landing on his back, which might also be why the oxygen is in play. But he pretty much set up to eat a knee pretty much unprotected from a guy running full speed. So yeah, it didn't look too flash for him at all. It has led to a little bit of a stoppage here, I should mention. We are currently 5 minutes into this contest, and the clock has stopped with the second injury for Northampton. Pretty well done to get that ball down. Yeah, it wasn't going to be easy for Alex Coles from where he was. Actually illegal to hurdle when carrying the ball probably is the minimum penalty / foul play, says Studs Race. And only he will know if it was intentional or not. Yeah, you'd have to really hope that there was no ill intent in it. Guy was standing on his seat there and got told to sit down. Those seats are dangerous, to be fair. He probably was trying to save a lawsuit, Mr. Security. I asked my buddy DDP to demonstrate a knee to the head when he sees Hamza. And plus, he's not likely to admit it, says Geza. Yeah, that's one of those things that only, he'll know. But still down Furbank at the moment. Think he will be cited. It's a tricky one to know, to be fair, because the initial call is no foul play. They didn't really look at it or anything along those lines. They just said, no foul play and play. But yeah, it was a really brutal connection, like a really ugly incident. Oh, aren't you in your suit today? It's Champions League final, says Victor. Pretty much because I only got back from being away on a trip about, well, to be fair, it was a little while ago, but we're still running off yesterday's energy. The crowd giving him an applause as Furbank makes his way off the field. I was running full tilt, wasn't intentional. Says Jimbo, and agree, Hamish, bad, you need to dress up. Says Pads ablaze. Yeah, he's still got the oxygen mask on here, Furbank. Looks like the lady's talking to him, which is a good sign. He's not still knocked out. But yeah, really rough one for George Furbank, who honestly, like, being back for this game was going to be massive for them. But now they've lost pretty much every reserve that they've got at their backline, with the exception of the halfback. So Tom Litchfield, he will make his way on. Ollie Slateholm already has. Who did the jumping of the tackle? It was Romain Buros, the number 15. Production standards in your channel is slipping, says Suds Race. And also, I agree, Hamish, bad, you need to dress up. But now 5 metres out from the line. Opportunity for Lamouth to throw it in, and that is exactly what he's done. Bordeaux going to the front of their rolling ball, but it has gone down pretty much straight away. Referee says it was legally done by Northampton. And now Maxime Luku going back across to the right-hand side here. Bordeaux getting close. About 1 metres out. Maxime Luku looking both ways. Will go off to the right. Now Jalibert, Buros shovels the ball on. And Damien Pinot, who did get injured in the last game of the Champions Cup, is now 100%. And he's now got another try. He has got quite a few in recent times. And Bordeaux celebrating that one big time try time. Says Seller. We have got there. Bordeaux are going to win this. Says Dennis, what happened to the penalty? No penalty whatsoever. They said that Buros couldn't pull out of it. And yeah, so Furbank's off, and he won't be returning. I would not like to see that man back out onto the field after how long he was down for. And it was a original penalty for Bordeaux, and then they kicked for the corner, had a rolling ball, went across the field and scored. That man again, says Geza. And Peds, thank you, says John. Now ready to line up this kick for this match. Jalibert will be the man in charge of the kicking tee. And it's hit the post and bounced back out. Furbank is injury prone. Well, to be fair, like, you don't plan to get kneed in the head while you're on the ground after going up for a high ball. Like, certain injuries, I feel like, you know, yes, you can be a bit prone to them, but head knocks are one of those ones that, you know, sometimes, no matter who the player is, like, no one's eating that knee and staying on the field. I would almost, well, if you do, like, it would be insane. Because there was full force. I don't even know how quick Buros can run. Probably quicker than, what is it, 20 Ks, 25 Ks probably in a full sprint, maybe even faster. And, you know, you're grounded. You've just been half by winded by going up for the ball. No way of protecting yourself when you're sitting up and you just eat a knee. Oh, that's a little bit high. So this is going to be a penalty. Furbank just came back from the injury. Yeah, different injury though, not a knee to the head. And Hamish is now dressed like he wants to wear trainers and hang out bus stops at night in order to beat us up, says Powerbite. And 6 minutes, 2 tries, great start, says Jimbo. Yeah, this is one of those seesaw type of games that everyone was hoping for. 7 points to 5. And we see there Pete Samu, yeah, just a little bit high from Alex Mitchell. Crowd are booing. I don't think there was any full contact in there. We go there, try, says Cameron, and Bordeaux got this, says Cameron there. Anyone got a link, says James. Sebastian put a link earlier on with the where to watch section. In terms of, depending on the country you're in, if you have a VPN, you can set yourself to one that have it free to wear. And just a hijackle, nothing more, says Geza. But now it is going to be the scrum. In fact, it wasn't even called as a penalty. It was just called as a knock-on from earlier on from Bordeaux. As it did happen after this knock-on. And Northampton have now got themselves the scrum feed. This is where they do need to fire straight back. Bordeaux are one of those sides that if you keep on striking when they do, you've got a decent shot. But as soon as you let them get 2 tries in a row, that's normally when it goes downhill. We saw that in the second half up against Toulouse, that as soon as they got their rhythm and they started scoring for fun, that's when your chances really do dwindle as a side chasing the game. Alex Mitchell putting the ball in now to the scrum, looking off to the right, but instead goes to the left here. Finn Smith puts the little grubber in behind, and it's nicely taken now at the back from BORDEAUX. And on the inside to Pete Samu. People should relax about the suit. If it were me, I'd do the show without wearing pants, just like I did during COVID Zoom meetings. There's Chris a bit now running this one forward. Little chip in behind, does run into a wall of Bordeaux defence. Now, crowd booing about that one. Maxime Luku taking a big shot as he kicks this one down the field. Biel Biri chasing that one, but it does roll into touch. Only 10 minutes into this contest. Already had about 16 minutes since kickoff as well. So there was quite a long injury stoppage first of all. We had a TMO check as well. Yeah, you're not getting around Coleman. Tommy Freeman to go for that chip and chase, but there was Coleman, and I think there was maybe Lamouth was the other man standing in his way. Now rolling maul here for the Saints. Henry Pollock goes off to Timo Mainavanua. Not able to go for the ball for Bordeaux, but now Mitchell kicking this one down towards the 40-metre line. Just out from the halfway line now. BORDEAUX running it forward again. And the thing is, he was the one who had the knee right. His knee's got to hurt after that because it was huge contact. That one's gone just over the top of Jalibert after the chip in behind, and now the Saints have got possession. Tommy Freeman going to try and get through, but Coleman was up for the tackle. And a counter ruck from Bordeaux as well. Initial knock-on coming from Bordeaux, says the ref. And they'll go back for another scrum. Do you think Moana Pacifica drubbing today could partly be due to their best game against the Blues last Saturday? Maybe. That's the thing. Sometimes, you can be the best team in the world one week and the worst team in the world the next. And that's the sad reality of rugby, You can have your ups and downs. It wasn't really a different lineup, so I don't think that was anything to do with it. But the Chiefs, I mentioned about it, and I feel like I've well and truly stick by this comment now, and we said it after maybe about 30 minutes of the game. It was the most clinical Chiefs performance we have seen in quite some time, and even with that, they still had a few mistakes, but, to bring up as many points as they did, 85 in the end, 13 tries, they were just finding every gap possible to be able to exploit. And also to keep them honest for a half, but Bordeaux won by 30 plus. They kick on like a mule, says Jimbo. Agree with other commenters. Saints need at least a try and a half up after 60 minutes, says Studs Race. Now Mitchell will feed this ball in again here for the Northampton Saints. They are starting to push forward. They'll go off to the right-hand side where Finn Smith with a short ball to Dingwall, very close to the sideline, and he has been bundled into touch. Bordeaux, they decide to keep the tempo of this game rolling. Mofana, Maxime Luku now going for the kick in behind. Oh, not sideways for Finn Smith, I thought, but the ref says it's forward. And he is not happy about that one. I think he wants to see a replay. He feels it was backwards there. It did look like it might have travelled backwards. And Chiefs could have hit 100, says Geza. We're going to see it here for Finn Smith. Does this ball have any forward that's gone backwards? I think that's fine, isn't it? There was no moment where that ball went in a forwards direction. Finn Smith feeling hard done by, but it does give Bordeaux the scrum now. And greetings, Hamish. Quick update, please. So currently, Northampton scored the first try of Alex Coles. Since then, they've had 2 injuries. George Furbank's off for the rest of the game. Same with James Ram. And then alongside that, then Bordeaux were able to score out wide with Damien Pinot. So those are all the tries that we have seen so far and the big moments of this game. But currently 25 metres out from the line. Well, that was something, says South Kid. Look backwards to me. It's always a little bit of a concern when we're this early into a game and there's already that bit of uncertainty. Oh, nice run from Bielberi. Goes on the outside. That looked almost forward. Pinot with a beautiful pass on the inside. He will score it. Bielberi. But I think they might just have to check that second last pass to make sure that that was all right. Was backwards, says Jimbo. And there you see, says KV. And there as well. But Dialberi does score a little trickle of blood going down the head. Check the ref's bank account, says Nick James. Look forward, says Geza. Right, we're going to see it now. This is an interesting angle. This won't show us too much. That angle, this one will do it. That's forward. That is a forward pass out to Damien Pinot. The crowd have now noticed it. Okay, now the referee's blowing the whistle. I think they're going to be checking this one, and I believe this try will be ruled out due to a forward pass from Bialberi. Right. He looks annoyed already, so that kind of tells you as a player that he wasn't 100% confident with where that ball went. And this one is going to be checked. Yeah, like even with the momentum of them running forward, it did go forward. He knows it too. Yeah, the player's expression after they went upstairs, he probably knew exactly what pass they were talking about. Okay, it has no try. It does mean that Northampton now are going to have themselves the scrum. And BB running the whole width of the pitch to set that play. What a player. Says Jimbo, yeah, one of those young guys that are definitely going to have a bright future for the French. I mean, he's already had a very bright start to his season. He's usually a good ref. Says Joe. Now 14 minutes. I think, to be fair, that knock-on call on the near side, I believe, came from the touch judge. If that means anything compared to, of course, Amish Kelly, I believe it is, who's the main ref for this one. Hello, says Yako, welcome in. And Bordeaux is the best backline. Yeah, it's absolutely stacked. Luku, Jalabert, Bialberi, Mofana in the midfield alongside Nicolas Deportier, and then Pinot and Buros, the last two across that lineup. At least that knock-on call didn't lead to a try, says Geza. I think what would have made it worse, though, is if that forward pass wasn't called all. That was knocked on by Jalabert as he tried to regather the ball after Bordeaux to lose the possession. All that ball trying to run away from Buros, working towards a 50-22, but now they will run this one forward from about 30 metres out from their line here, Bordeaux. Deportier hitting a really hard challenge by Northampton. There's one thing that these two sides can't be accused of, and that is lacking physicality. Throughout the first 15 minutes, Biarri tries to go for the chip in behind. Made another tackle. That ball has gone backwards this time. Northampton have now got themselves the ball. 40 metres out from their own line. Running forward was Curtis Langdon. Bordeaux are lightning quick in terms of trying to get into the breakdown and win that turnover. Only takes them about a second to get into position. Henry Pollock, the man chasing after this one, decides to leave it for Buros, and a big shot from Ollie Slateholm. Looks like Northampton are trying to fight fire with fire and doing the exact same thing. There was a bit of a nothing kick there from Maxime Luku. Gives Mitchell the ball, and now Northampton once again will have an attack wide. Cut out pass from Tommy Freeman. Chance in the wide channel. Tackle made by Deportier. And Bordeaux bench forwards will make a big impact too. Last 20 minutes going to be tough for the Saints, says Thuds Race. And got to love the ambition, says Gez. A nice step coming from Dingwall. Bordeaux and off their feet there. And we're able to complete the counter ruck. Another big shot on Tom Lockett. Might have actually taken a bit of a shot to the head there. He stayed down for half a second. Two little grubber in behind from the Saints, and it goes into touch. Yeah, they might actually want to check on Tom Lockett. Because I think that was, well, the fact that he's a lock and he's been hit in the head tells you that it was probably quite high, as those locks are built about 2 metres tall. And it was a decent kick in behind. Buros just keeping an eye on that one. We're going to see the shot here on Tom Lockett. Yeah, I mean, it did hit him in the head, but I guess they're saying there was another, well, there was another tackler, but those ones normally still at least get a slight check in most games, particularly a final. But now, Maxime Luku, one of the commentators, said they haven't hung around for that one. Like, it wasn't any sort of severe contact, and luckily back up to his feet as well, Tom Lockett. I think it would have been different if he had stayed down for longer. Now running sideways here for the Northampton Saints. Alex Mitchell, now back across to the right-hand side. This is quite an interesting one. We actually saw, it was similar to the Pellegrini yellow card for Moana Pacifica today. He ended up with a yellow for hitting Moni Narua in the head. There is a knock on from the Saints and another head knock. Said Lilia B. And tried to get that steal, and the breakdown was Deportier. It was a good two-man clean out, but unfortunately by then the ball had already been knocked on by the Saints. Currently 1 try apiece in this contest, 7 points to 5. So pretty close for now. Smith just having a rough start to the game. A little bit, although, like, that's the thing. When you lose your 15 so early, I feel like that's got to have a little bit of an impact on your tactics. Like, they've probably said all throughout the week the plan is to go Smith, get somehow Furbank in there as maybe second receiver or floating around, swapping and changing between the two. And then, you're only less than 10 minutes in, and now those tactics all go out the window. You've got to try and rebuild with these new guys. Mitchell and Smith do work well together, though. For the Saints, there's going to be another penalty, this time going the way of Bordeaux. They will not take it quickly. Henry Pollock taking a pretty big shot in that breakdown. I think a couple of those older Bordeaux players just trying to show the youngster how it's done. Now kicking that one towards the touchline, Jalabert, and that is a very nice kick off the right-hand boot. You see it there, just trying to get that strip, but he was on the ground in the process. Oh, it's Adam Coleman. He will definitely try and hit the youngsters when he can. Oh, okay, one of the commentators just saying it was actually an illegal clean-out as he collapsed onto Pollock's leg. The commentators picking apart the ref and the TMO at this point. Now Mofana going back across to the left-hand side. Buros tackled 22 metres out from the line for Bordeaux. Maxime Luku fires it across. Trying to hold up play was Alex Coles. He's already scored the 1 try for Northampton. Sand Underhill should be in prison for his headbutt last night. Only got a yellow. Holly Davison had sent him off round to 16 and chickened out. Says Jimbo, little kick him behind there, coming from Bordeaux, and once again, no option there but to slide into touch. A little bit of an unnecessary push after from Deportier, after already the ball was dislodged from the Saints. There is a lot of tension at the moment between these two sides, and you get that little bit of a feeling of frustration for them as well, as if maybe Bordeaux, in terms of the amount of attack that they have had throughout this contest, maybe they feel like they should have had 1 or 2 more tries on the board, and at the end of the day, without that forward pass, they could have. On the other side of things, you have got the Northampton Saints, who play well as an underdog, but aren't used to leading, or at least not at times. They did lead up against Leinster, but they did have a bit more of a leading margin than this. Looks like Buros is going to make his way off the field. Right, that is definitely not tactical. I believe that would be for an HIA. Better to concede the line out than a try, says Geza. Exactly right. If you try and throw that ball, that was a terrible pass from Maxime Luku, but it's gone backwards. So they are going to continue playing beautiful, stepping from Jalabert, trying to find his way through, pops it over the top, and Coleman scores the try out wide. That is the perfect example of sometimes your greatest moves can come from a big mistake. The drop ball from Bordeaux. I think they are just wanting to check to see if there was a knock-on here. I mean, it probably went more forward than Finn Smith's knock-on, is what we'll say there. But that one was a nice pass over the top for Adam Coleman. Yeah, it's gone backwards as well for Mofana, about the same as Smith's. But the great stepping from Jalabert and somehow just cut open the defence. And we have got their lucky break, says Geza. And also people called Coleman should not be playing for a French team. Should be playing for a mustard factory. Says Power Bike, but that kick has gone over. Brilliant strike from Jalabert, and that will now make the score 12 points to 7. Doesn't look like a knock-on. No, it's gone backwards, says Geza. And we have got there surely a red card on this Namby Healthcare and Safety. There needs to be international consistency. Damien Valimza got banned for a 50-50 contact. Says Robert, do you know what the worst thing is about the Damien Valimza one, though? And I feel like it's a part of it that some people haven't mentioned. The only reason they checked that one is because the Stormers thought that they had a moment earlier on that would have had that try disallowed. So they went over to the ref and said, look, you need to check this one. And in the end, the ref was like, okay, we'll have a look. And it led to Damien Willemse getting that match ban. Like, it was one moment that they were already leading by plenty, so they didn't need that penalty anyway. But because they went, listen, we need this one checked because we feel like maybe there was obstruction in the game, we're leading by like 30 points, now leads to Willemse probably missing some games for the Boks. Momentum definitely with Bordeaux. Saints need to step up. So we need a new definition of backwards, says Jimbo, so there's no consistency. Ask the Scots. We get head-butted on the daily, and the rest will only ever give a yellow card, says Power Bite. Oh, a little bit of a juggle there for the Northampton Saints, but they have now got possession around the halfway line. Stormers screwed themselves there. Major backfire, says Lilia B. Now advantage. Alex Mitchell tries the sniping run, picked up by Curtis Langdon, clean as a whistle. I've never understood that saying. Maybe the sound of a whistle, but the whistle's probably quite dirty because people blow on it. But now, going back for the penalty. Okay, not rolling away was the call there, so saying that they allowed their player to jackal by lying in the wrong position. Does mean now that... Oh, Finn Smith pointing at the posts by the looks of that one. I think he got a 3-match ban. Yeah, he did. So, depending on how far the Stormers go in the URC, will depend on if Damien Willemse can play in the first matches for the Springboks. Interesting question. Where did they say, or where did that saying originate? Yeah, I assume it's like the whistle sound, because that is quite clean, but yeah. The whistles, yeah, they have a bit of spit in that. Now Finn Smith. This one's from about maybe 47 metres out on the angle. Been pretty consistent with his kicking throughout this year. And whoop whoop. Says one Pierre Bosch. Welcome in, mate. Got the 20 seconds remaining on the shot clock. A little bit of a slip there as he came into it. But he still got it over. That looked like he shanked it. Or at least didn't get it anywhere near as clean as he would have liked. I believe there was a bit of a slide forward as he tried to strike it. And it's come round beautifully. But yeah, definitely wasn't the strike he was after. Does anyone else call Alois Bielberry Monsieur Beep Beep? Reminds me of Row Runner. Says Power Bite and good call, says Robert. That kick has gone over, making the score now 12 points to 10. Only the 15 minutes remaining, nicely taken again by the Northampton Saints. Pressure coming in the breakdown from Bordeaux, as always. Take your 3 every time. Definitely in a final. You've got to go for every points. There you can try to Google, but it seems no one knows, says Geza. Now going back across, Maxime Luku. Big shot on him. He's not afraid to put the body on the line. In fact, neither of these halfbacks are. It's contact sport. We shouldn't be trying to make it family friendly. Imagine the PG warnings on a New Zealand South Africa match. Says Robert, little kick him behind. Chasing hard's Mofana, well cleaned up though by the Saints. It was Mitchell who popped it up to Freeman. And that is a really good clearing kick. It didn't find touch though, which was probably the only thing that didn't make it any better. Bielbiare does hit it back up. Going short side, Maxime Luku off now to Jalabert. Was almost picked up and dropped. They did pull out of it to Portier. 20 metres out from the line. Some massive shots throughout this matchup. Like we said earlier on, both sides being physical. Big attack and run, Timo Maya, Navanua. Tackling the loose head prop now off to the right-hand side. Skip past Jalabert. Going to the Portier. Ball on the inside to Damien Pinot. He's dropped the ball. A uncharacteristic-like error from Damien Pinot there. Northampton is never out of this match and probably will win late, says Jonathan. And Northampton showing Leinster how to take the points. And also over there, Mitchell did well there, says Geza. Yeah, it would have been very easy for him to accidentally... Yeah, see, he's put him down very nicely there. It could have been a lot worse. And then the big shot coming in on Damien Pinot. I think the tackle dislodged the ball, says Geza. Now will be the scrum feed for Northampton. Seeing there Timo Maya, Vanua in the wide angle. He's already had a great start to this contest, going head-to-head with Adam Coleman in those number 4 jerseys. We have there Dion Morris, watching from South Africa and Cape Town. Come on, the Saints. Says Dion. So I assume you're also going to be cheering for your Stormers. Well, maybe they're your Stormers. Maybe you're from somewhere else. But, yeah, it will be a very intriguing game to see how they get on in Scotland up against Glasgow. Now rolling this one back again. Chance here for Alex Mitchell, going to be wrestled down. Counter ruck coming from Bordeaux, and they win the penalty 5 metres out from the Saints line. And this is where it can be dangerous. Maxime Luku, looking both ways, decides against going for the quick tap. And unbelievable how hot it is in Cape Town today. Today, about 25 degrees. You're looking refreshed again. At least I made the second half. Says Roof, in fact, you made the first half. We are still only 27 minutes into this contest. Yeah, Finn Smith just couldn't quite get out of that breakdown. And scary time, says Robert. And now they have opted to take the 3 points here for Bordeaux. Should be a nice stock standard kick from Jalabert, and it has gone over 15 points to 10 now. We have there Hamish. A whistle traditionally had a smooth, clear, and clean finish. Whether it was carved from wood, made of metal, the sound is also seen as being crisp and clear. So here's a power bite. What else is something that's clean that would make sense in that saying rather than clean as a whistle? Like clean as a, I don't even know. Clean as some hand sanitizer. Well, hand sanitizer stings a bit, doesn't it? So you probably shouldn't put it in your eyes. But then you shouldn't put a whistle in your eye either. At least it's probably not recommended. Saints coming. Oh, sorry. We've got Saints committing. As Alvarez says, Jimbo. And also not impressed with the ref's call there. Bordeaux kicked the ball through the ruck, didn't they? Says studs raised. Now Henry Pollock. Oh, referee almost was on the receiving end of that pass. 45 metres out from the Bordeaux line now. They are down by 5. They would love at least some form of points for the halftime break. Popping the ball up. Finn Smith now can't quite go through. Big shot coming in on him by Maxime Luku. Back across to the left-hand side now. Trevor Davison. Timo Mai, Avanua knocking the ball on, taken by Samu. Now Mofana has 3 men on his outside, but he will opt to go for the kick instead. Jalabert doesn't go in the field of play, does eventually roll out, stepped away for a minute. What are we talking about? Whistles. Clean as surgery. Okay. What type of surgery? Like laser eye? Heart? They're the only two I could think of. The Argentinians had a phrase to describe how genuinely amateur they were in the amateur days. We are whiter than milk, says Power Bite. And we have got there nearly work, says Geza. A shout out to the Pont from Cape Town. Hopefully he's mending nicely. Yeah, he will be absolutely chomping at the bit to get back out there. Sadly, he has to wait that little bit longer. We have got there Nutella smoothie later, says Ruth. Damien Pinot. They said 3 weeks ago. Oh. Okay, TMO. Right. Checking the actions of 6 blue. That is Diaby. They will be looking upstairs. Okay, Diaby's going nothing in it. Yeah, it's a shoulder to the head of Timo Mayanavanoa, relatively upright. There's no dip. Timo Mayanavanoa's head is slightly dipped, but Diaby still tunes into it and hits him with his shoulder. Big brother is watching, says Geza. A yellow must be, says Jimbo. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is chance of a yellow card. I'm from Bordeaux, and I wish you a very good match. May the best team win in respect and fair play. Says Torata. Well, thank you very much for popping in. It is great to see you. They check in there. This might change the game a little bit. 10 minutes. Okay, just a yellow card for Diaby here. By the sounds of it, referee ruined the final as Furbank got knocked out cold. There should have been a straight red card. Absolutely disgusting, says Connor. Yeah, it didn't look good in the wide angle. But they they looked at it once, and that was it. I would have liked to see the other angle to see whether or not, like, I want to give the benefit of the doubt to say, like, you wouldn't intentionally knee a guy who's lying on the ground. But, you know, it was definitely an ugly collision. I'm going red. Upright, no wrap, says Studs Race. Correct decision, yellow all day, says Jimbo. No force in it, yellow card, says Eric. And there as well. But it does now mean that Northampton, they have got 3 points available here if they want it. They're kicking for the corner, though. So this is an interesting one, ladies and gents, because we've just gone from about 5 minutes ago where Northampton were happy enough taking 3. And Timo Mainavanui actually going off for an HIA here. So I feel like the main reason that he dropped that ball was because I think he might have actually been half by knocked out, which is not good for Timo Mainavanui, as he has been one of the target players in terms of Northampton using him throughout this first half. Ollie Slate home now, charging for 10 metres out from the line here. Alex Mitchell goes off now to Henry Pollock, who sits down Jalabert. Mitchell again back across, all stolen by Damien Pinot, but had absolutely no one with him. Now that's the type of moment that if you knock that on, you're in a lot of trouble. But when you take it cleanly, the counter-attack was certainly on. But speaking of counters, Northampton have managed to get the possession back again for themselves. Davison, little kick behind, attempted by Finn Smith. And it's going to be in the in-goal area. Bielbury kicks it into touch. About 15 metres out from the line now, Northampton have got themselves the line out. But that is such a good catch from Damien Pinot, because, like I said, if you don't get that right, you probably penalty try, yellow card. So had to make sure that he got it. So is this a mandatory try almost? Points are maybe more of a premium versus Bordeaux. Probably good decision, says Jonathan. The French definitely would near a guy lying on the ground, says Power Bite. How much have the French paid the ref, says Robin. Now back across to the left-hand side here. Another opportunity for the Northampton Saints. Told to get out of that one. We're Bordeaux. Now Finn Smith not able to pierce through the gap. He is tackled. Mitchell tries to pop it up. It's going to be knocked on by the big number 5. That is Bordeaux's, I should mention. It could be a yellow card on the cards here. I think they're going to be checking this one. Fairbank is one of the best players. Do not even review that decision as utter filth. So he's gone. Yeah, I did think they'd at least have a bit more of a check of it. And we have got their great commentary, listening all the way from South Africa, says Cat Lego. Well, it is absolutely awesome to have you. Of course, tomorrow, or sorry, not tomorrow, but next week, we've got the URC quarterfinals involving 3 South African sides all playing. Right, this sounds like it's just going to be a penalty. And this one, why is that not yellow, says Nick. Okay, we hear the English commentator saying that is a yellow card. Whereas we've seen yellow cards of that one given. I think the benefit went to Cyril Chazot because I think the reason behind it is his eyes never actually looked at the ball. I think he was still in the process of making the tackle. And like I said, like that one has been given as a yellow before, but I think that was more so, let's just say the ball is there. He was kind of like that, and his hand was extended. It did hit it, but I don't think there was any intent in it. And it adds 3 points to the board for Northampton here. He was wrapping in the tackle, no yellow card, says Eric, and Sensible taking the 3 and kick the 3 here. This is like knocking out Messi for Barcelona back in the day at the start of the game. Nothing was done about it, says Connor. And also, why is that not yellow, says Nick. So yeah, I think it was just because the player's eyes were never on the ball, more so making the tackle. But he came in pretty wide for a tackle, that is for sure. But then big long arms, isn't it? So it's hard to get those things under control. That one's gone into touch on the fall from Bielbury. Maybe a little bit of pressure now coming in for Bordeaux. They are still down a man for another about 6.5 minutes. It's either not a penalty or a yellow card and penalty. No intent means not a penalty. It was like when Henshaw knocked on against Scotland, the same decision, says Geza. That one's going to be nicely taken by Northampton, 40 metres out from their line. Henry Pollock hit hard by Mofana. Did have a bit of a slip there. Back on the outside. It does look very, very sleek, I guess you could say. Is that the word? Slick. That's the word, not sleek. Underfoot. They're just talking about another change made for Northampton. So I think they've had to make 4 now, or 3 at this point in time. Losing 3 of their big players throughout the first 30 minutes of this contest. Tommy Freeman hasn't really been given too much opportunity to find space. Finn Smith kicks it in behind. Henry Pollock, he was in front though. He scored the try, but he was about 2 metres in front of Finn Smith at the time of connection. Why Principality Stadium just wondered anyway. So it is neutral ground that does get predetermined. Is it at the start of the competition or is it a little bit of the way through that they do? Oh, that's close. Forward by about a metre, I would say, in terms of that offside position. But once again, called live by the ref, so that is definitely one that you've got to make sure you're confident in. Was the right decision, though. However, I don't know. That's where the check says studs race. Now going to be kicked in behind, looking for the 50-22, but Biarri is back there. Oh, kicking up and under Louis Belberrier, or Biarri, I should say. Manages to regather the ball, chipping it in behind. Awkward bouncing one, but no. Oh, he's going to be tackled in the air. Oh, and he's done the big old flop as well, unfortunately. I don't think he's injured. What's he asking for here, Pinot? That was about as football as we have seen in terms of the arms in the air. They're acting like you've been shot. And I think Northampton have taken a little bit of a disliking to that play. And now he's upstairs getting. He is, because he's fine. There was nothing wrong with him in that moment. But he was tackled in the air. It's one of those rules that I do think is one of the worst rules that you can have. If you're a player and you've jumped when it's bounced, like if it's on the full, like a kick, I think it's fine if you jump up and then you tackle. But if you jump for a loose ball or a pass, I feel like that becomes a little bit more iffy. They are going to be kicking this one towards the corner. Stop kicking the ball to Biarri. But we're going to see it here. So Pinot goes up for it. Freeman does half by pull out, but then he grips the legs. It's a yellow card. Are we serious here? Is that what we're going with? Clearly knows what he does, says the referee. So he's looked at the big screen, seen that and gone, that's worthy of a yellow. Okay. All right. It's going to be a line out here for Bordeaux, but we can see how this one's going at the end of the first half. Abysmal officiating so far. What is going on, says Critical. Well, it's popped out the back. Maxime Luku now fires it up to Jalabert. Trying to get onto the ball there, Northampton, but just going out of it for Josh Kimini. We have got there, does Bodenberry have a weak spot to exploit? If not, and then kicking seems logical, says on the right. But now, looks like there is, oh no, Coleman is up. Looked like he was injured for a bit, but now back across to the right-hand side. Jalabert tries to kick Henry Pollock. It's knocked backwards. Get in that one back though. Jalabert and Pinot slams the ball down. Bordeaux get themselves another try. Saints kicking too long. Playing to Bordeaux's strength. Better box kicking, says Jimbo. But Pinot will now get his second. And it is just before the halftime break with two sides playing with 14. And the ref has been completely inconsistent with the game officiating, or is officiating every other weekend. So I guess that's nothing out of the ordinary, says Studs Race. No good finish. But yeah, brilliant work from Jalabert though. To initially go for a kick, lose the ball, and then see the next breakdown, grab it back. It's actually quite similar to what we saw for that first try of Damien Pinot, in regards of it's been the moment before that Jalabert has been able to kind of fix that has led to the try. An easy kick coming up. Not the easiest, but he's a pretty decent kicker of the ball, so head back himself. Oh, he's missed away to the right. That's going to make the score now 20 points to 13. We've got about 2 minutes remaining before the halftime break. I really hope the French send a strong side to New Zealand, says Justin. And also we have got there's a hammer blow to the Saints solar plexus, says Geza. And we have got Saints didn't capitalise, boom Frenchies, says Roof. And Pinot, another classic here, got himself 2 at the moment. So he is completely fine after being tackled before, it would seem. But now, going back into the pocket, Maxime Luku. That's a good strike of the ball from the 9. He's gone with the torpedo type of kick and try, says Cameron. This may be lame. What do cars like to put in their toast, or on their toast, says Damo. Do let us know. One moment, I'm about to sneeze, so I will quickly mute. We are good. Traffic jam. It's an interesting one, I will say, Damo, but welcome in. Hope you're doing well. So far, we have seen some pretty handy tries from Bordeaux. And Northampton need a penalty, says Jonathan. That was an interesting one for Maxime Lemuth. He actually threw the ball as the hooker about 1 metre inside of the field of play. You allowed to do that? I don't think they police it, but yeah, that man was fully on the field when he did throw that one. Kind of did a step in, like a big long throw in football, but that is going to be the penalty going the way of Northampton. 10-minute timeout, says Justin. And that one has gone into touch. Do you believe Moana is still a good team? Or was it just an off day from them against the Chiefs? I think it was an off day for Moana and an absolutely insanely good day for the Chiefs. Like, they've beaten every New Zealand side with the exception of the Chiefs throughout the season, Moana. So, like, you have to look at it as an off day. Yes, like, they were struggling to even be in that game at all. But, you know, the week before they beat the Blues in a game that they definitely weren't supposed to win. That's a beautiful backline there for Northampton. Ball on the inside, and it's the second try for Alex Coles. And just like that, Northampton get back into it. I assume fitness levels are the same. Bordeaux, I should say, have a stronger pack. That will creep through after 60 minutes. And Bordeaux playing well, says Robert. But Alex Coles, his second try of this Champions Cup. He's having a dream one at the moment, as he's the only man who has crossed the line for Northampton. But what's happened here? They just go short side and just some really well-timed passing there, luring in the defence, drawing pass, and then just running out of defenders for Bordeaux, which eventually leads to Alex Coles. Ooh, almost got a knee on the ground for his troubles. But Finn Smith, this is an important kick here as we are on the verge of halftime. This will be the last play of the half. Our conversion is very important here, and Finn Smith has got it over. So we go into the second 40 without a point separating the teams. We're right back into it. Conversion. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? Is Alex Coles related to Dane Coles? I don't think so. Completely different nationality. The only same thing is the last name. I should really sleep, so I'm not dead for golf tomorrow. Says Panzer Blaze. Might be a good idea. Cracking game. Tries exciting. Says Jimbo. Yeah, been very close between these two sides, and, you know, momentum has kind of shifted throughout that first 40. We saw Northampton had some really good moments. We saw Bordeaux kind of control the middle of it, and then at the end, the Saints once again just getting that half-by moment. There are a few people dressed as inflatable zebras down on the side. That's interesting. I don't know what they're going to do there. Probably make them race, I would think, or they've got a lion, and they're going to let that out and see what happens. At this point, it's anyone's game, exactly how a final should be, says Lilia B. And yeah, both sides at the moment playing with a yellow card, although I do believe the Bordeaux yellow is just about to expire, which will mean they're back into the full swing of things in the very near future, whereas Northampton, they'll probably have another 5 minutes. I've said yellow card, and awesome, says Robert Wood. Well, we will look through at the second half in terms of the players that can make their way onto the field. For Northampton, they've already had Prowse make his way on. They've had Litchfield go on, and they've had Slate home. Now, that was for Timo Mainavanua, James Ram, and also George Furbank. So they have had to make quite drastic changes from almost the get-go, whereas for Bordeaux, they're going to have a fresh bench, although they have made the change of Retieri. He has made his way on. I don't actually know who that was for, if I'm being honest, but they've got Rancy van Rensburg, and they have got the option of Ben Tame Funa. Sa is there. So it's going to be a pretty physical second half, I would think. If it is similar to the first, and then could see a bit of fatigue kicking in for both of the sides. as well. But looking at what is in the future for these two teams, of course, one of these two sides can call themselves champions at the end of this 80 minutes. Then for Bordeaux, they also have a chance of winning the top 14 with where they are ranked. They've got Toulon in the next week's contest, and then, of course, in about 3 weeks' time, that is when we see the French playoffs start to take place, I believe. But in terms of the Premiership, we have got just the one more round, and that is going to be Gloucester versus Northampton. And then, because of where Northampton are ranked, they don't actually have any other matches, which is why this is pretty much their final. And if they manage to get themselves the win, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because for some sides, they'd say that the Champions Cup, they'd rather win it than the Premiership. Of course, winning the Premiership, something that Northampton cannot do here, but they do still have 40 minutes. They can get themselves a victory in this comp. At this point, it's anyone's game. Says Lily, and great commentary. Munster supporter stuck in Bordeaux Airport. Keep up the great work, says Gary. So thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated you being here. Hopefully you aren't delayed too much more. And we have their football-style injury acting. Should not be an automatic red card. This is rugby, not Ponzi football, says Robert. And we have their zebras. Whose mascots are they? I don't actually know whose mascots are zebras. I think they just said, hey, halftime, let's get some zebras. Put them on the field. See what happens. One moment, I'm about to sneeze again, so I will quickly mute. But I would like to see them get an inflatable lion and find someone who's like really quick and then have them have to try and catch everyone. See what happens. That would be good entertainment, I would say. But Bielberi, so explosive, Jalabert and Luku feeding them well. Alex Coles deserves best player in Northampton, or if Northampton win, yeah, he's been outstanding throughout that first half in terms of being able to score twice in a game where at times it's looked pretty challenging for Northampton to be able to cross that try line. They've been close quite a few times. That's been no style, says Gary. And we have got there, who do you see taking it from here? I do think that Bordeaux are the more likely, but the Saints have been making a season of upsets, like being able to beat Leinster in their last game is something that they were not supposed to do, but they still did it, and they did it in Ireland as well. Sounds like riveting halftime entertainment, says Lily B. Sups up, says try time down under, welcome in. And we have got there Zebra, says Jimbo. And there's, of course, Zebra sadly not playing next week in the URC quarters, but the 4 matches which I should have actually had available to show you, and we will do that. I'll quickly find that overlay, hopefully anyway. A little bit of luck. There we go. That's what we want. And we'll click that. There we go. So these are the matches of the quarterfinals in the URC. They are taking place next week, ladies and gents. As you can see there, Scarlets taking on Leinster. That'll be a tough game for the Scarlets, but they've done well to make it through to the stage of the comp that they have, so they certainly won't be given up easy in that matchup. Glasgow versus the Stormers. That is a very intriguing one. The Stormers known this season as a side that haven't travelled that well away from South Africa, but they have to here if they want to make it through to the next stage. Sharks versus Munster, that is 3 versus 6, and then Bulls versus Edinburgh. Both home games for the South African sides. And then they're just showing one of the crashes in the F1. I think that's the one that someone mentioned about a while ago, that the guy was completely fine, even though he flipped his car in the brief moment. But yeah, those are pretty much the matchups of the quarterfinals. We are covering all 4 of them on the channel alongside Super Rugby next week, which I think we did have somewhere. What's this one? This looks like international games. That's 2024. I was wondering what that one was. That's been there for a very long time. There's also a picture of a burger there. So we've got a few random pop-ups in these ones. And Scarlett's got that one in the bag, put money on it. Says on the right, these two teams deserve to be here, consistent. Says Roof. And it sounds like riveting halftime entertainment. Says Lily Bear about the Zebras as well. But of course, do let me know, ladies and gents, who you guys think will be winning this game. At the moment, it's very hard to tell. We've had 20 points apiece. I would say whoever wins this will probably score in the late 30s, if not the 40s. But the question is whether or not just one team will be able to fire in the second half, or whether it will be a case of both teams going back and forth for a little bit longer. Do you think the Bulls will win against Edinburgh in the quarterfinals? They've got a decent chance, because we've got to remember that game taking place in South Africa If it was the other way around, I mean, Edinburgh were beaten at home by the Bulls, but I think they've got a decent shot of moving forward. We've also got the Leinster scored 3 tries out of 20 entries, 5 tries out of 20 entries into the 22. Saints scored 5 tries from 7 entries, so they can do it. The early subs will mean tied team after 60 minutes. And Coles is a Hebrew name. Rugby is a sport of the most Jewish players out of any sport. Dingwall, Slate Home, Hutchison, Ram, Pascoe Mills, and James Graham. There's Power Bite. Did you get a chance to check out the Rugby Premier League? They dropped the theme song this week. It features a few famous Bollywood movie stars. It's like an entertaining tournament to follow. Yeah, I did see the squads. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think it's happening mid-June, isn't it? That will be taking place. Only a few games a night. I don't know what the go would be copyright-wise. Like, we'd consider covering it if we know that we're not going to get a strike. But if we got a strike, it would mean that we have to miss the July internationals of rugby. So we really don't want to do that. But we'll see what happens. We'll try and work out something. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting comment and see what happens compared to the 7 circuit. Because at the moment, we're seeing sides dropping left, right, and centre from the 7s. Yeah, second half. I feel like Pollock, a lot of pressure on him. Although Bordeaux have been doing well to shut him down in this contest. I think that the back 3 for Bordeaux have been so dangerous. But it was actually Romain Buros. I've just remembered who went off in that first half after a little while. And then Pinot and also Biel Berry, I should say, have just been on fire throughout this matchup as well. Pinot having the 2 tries. Did see one disallowed for Biel Berry as well. We have got there my cats even enjoying Hamish's voice, smooth. Puts them into a relaxed state. And we have got there Hamish getting harassed in the workplace. Who by? Rugby. We have got there the George emojis as well from Ruth. Yeah, second half. I do think we're going to see... I think that Bordeaux will come out firing. Because they've got the man advantage. Oh, it was Scott McLaughlin, I think, who was the one in the crash. We have got there, are you allowed any alcohol levels in New Zealand? I just went to Poland and found out that they don't allow any alcohol levels when driving, but in the UK you're allowed 2 units. I think you're allowed about the same here in New Zealand. I think it can be up to about 0.5 as your alcohol level, or I could be wrong, it might be 0.2 or something like that, but yeah, normally 1 drink or 2 drinks with food is all right in terms of the passing of the test. Northampton's Reuben Logan, son of Kenny Logan and TV star Gabby Logan. Hebrew through his mother. Bad player, but a child of celebrity, so he gets talked up. Says Power Bite and Luku Quiet are in the action. He's been busy throughout this game. Maxime Luku, he's had a couple kicks where he's put a little bit too much oomph on them, but I do think that Northampton, their kicking has been a bit problematic at times. It's allowed Bordeaux to run it with their back 3. How was the vibe at the game we went to yesterday? It was all right. I think that because the home side really didn't fire at all throughout the full 80 minutes, that kind of dampened it a little bit, you could say. Like, the crowd was definitely more quiet than you'd expect for a game, but no, it was good. It was a decent experience overall. It's even smooth when Hamish speaks slowly, real slow. I think the legal limit is the same in most countries. USA are very strict on that, though. Says Geza. They're showing F1. I would hate to imagine what having alcohol and then trying to drive an F1 car would be like. And I missed first half. It was like a good half or a good game looking at the score. Yeah, it's been relatively even. We've seen, I think it's 3 yellow cards so far. And one of those will still be in play for the start of the second half, where we are going to see Bordeaux with that man advantage. Using hand sanitizer will get you a DIY here in Ireland. Says Jimbo in 2020, not bad. And going soon, explosive. Second half, how many tries? Hamish hat-trick. Well, Pinot's already got himself 2, so he's a long way towards that hat-trick. I think we're going to see, I'm optimistically going to say both sides are going to score 35 points, or at least I want them to. And I think whoever wins this game is going to win it by 7. So 42-35, I think, could be on the cards. I don't know why that score is the one that I'm thinking, but that's what we're going to go with. But we must be very close to the second half of this contest. I believe the halftime break ended about 12 minutes ago. Normally it's about a 15-minute break, so the Northampton win over Leinster was more than just luck. It looks that way. I mean, they're a very strong side, Northampton, and, you know, they've shown when they get it right, they can be extremely dangerous. Now, I do think that they would have been more dangerous had they not lost Furbank and James Ram within the first 10 minutes of this contest. I do think that that definitely halted their momentum, and they took a bit longer to find what they needed to do. Same as nil all, pretty much, yeah. Both of these sides still well and truly in it. We are just eagerly awaiting to see the players make their way back out and see exactly who walks away with this win. So do let me know your score predictions too, ladies and gents. While we're at it, Extra Time Mints will get you a DIY in Poland. Says powered by. Looks like a bit of an atmosphere there at the Principality Stadium. Bordeaux to win, just need to focus. Says login, and like the thing is, thinking back to their last game, I've got the semi-finals here. One moment. There we go. Like, they were pretty close with Toulouse at halftime, and then they just ran away with it. They managed to find their rhythm, found their momentum, and they just went. And that's what Northampton have to try and avoid. I think it took less than a minute for BORDEAUX to be able to score in the second half of that game up against Toulouse, and they've got the benefit of having the man advantage now for the start of the second half. So this is where Bordeaux, over the next about 5 minutes or so, sounds like a short period of time, but this is where they'll really try and attack and try and wear out Northampton in this match too. Northampton 40 points to 39, 3 a.m. Okay for mango ice cream, it's not mine. Says Studs Rays. With it not being yours, it's a bit more controversial, I guess you could say. 42 points to 35 to Bordeaux, says on the right. And first try, second half. I think it's going to be coming pretty early in this one. And once again, I mean, it's hard to say anyone but BORDEAUX or Damien Pinot. And could go to extra time, says John. That would be quite cool. Last game that we've called that went to extra time and then something more, I think, was Toulouse-Munster a little while ago in the Champions Cup. Oh, yeah, there, Jimbo. Stop washing your windscreen with Jameson. And my windscreen wash stinks of alcohol. I've had funny interactions with the guards at the checkpoints, says Jimbo. I'm thinking UBB hit 40. Saints going to score at least 3 tries to win, says Studs Race. Oh. So they got to rather than gonna. And a BORDEAUX try coming up in the second, says Jameson. Anyone currently getting a halftime bollocking? I think that the players would have both. Well, that's the thing. It's a tricky one because they didn't do too much wrong. You know, like both sides are still well and truly in it. So I think the coaches would have just had a bit of a talking to them and said, look, you're close enough here. 40 minutes, dig deep. See if you can get the win. But Northampton, they have got the early possession. Tommy Freeman, the man with the yellow card for Northampton, I should mention. And the scoring won't stop. Both teams attack better than the defence, says Jimbo. It's kicked high from Alex Mitchell. Henry Pollock chasing after this one, but Maxime Luku left alone to be able to claim it. Falatia, he's been taken off the field, and that is for Tame Funa, so a big switch that they're able to make at the start of the second half for Bordeaux. Little chip in behind attempted by Jalabert. Now, that's when it's most dangerous, when he makes a mistake. He actually, from his last mistake, managed to turn it into a try. And both coaches would say, I would have said it's now a 40-minute game, says Geza. Now, BORDEAUX, he will kick this one in to touch the crowd, giving him a little bit of stick, but it's still a decent exit from inside of his 22. Now, looks like it's going to be a line out. Now, we have there definitely an attacking game from both teams. And the scoring won't stop. And also, we have got could go to extra time from John. Yeah, if it's going to be this close at the end of the game, that was very close to the sideline. Henry Pollock, big fend. They'll check the feet here. They have to. Every other try that we've seen from Northampton, there's been a little check. But Henry Pollock just telling the crowd to calm down. I want to see Langdon's feet here. That sounds a bit dodgy. But I think that he was very close to stepping on that sideline. If some guys make a mistake in the next 5 minutes, they could be replaced. Right, we're going to see the replay here. But it was a great set piece from Northampton. think he's just in. They're going to show this angle, though. This will tell us. Yeah, he's fine. But was the pass forward? They're going to check this one as well. So he was in the field of play, but now they're checking for a forward pass. Out of nothing, if this counts. Oh, yeah, we've got there. Hamish, you're a feet guy, says on the right. And forward pass, says Jimbo. Yeah, I think this is going to be Henry Pollock's second disallowed try of the contest. It's Van Rensburg playing for Bordeaux. He is. He's at number 23. So we'll be making his way off the field. Wait, what? Okay, they're not even checking the forward pass. They're checking for something else that 6 green Alex Coles has done in the breakdown. He grabbed Ben Tamefunu's shirt in the line out. So they're going to say that that was obstruction and that's why they'll disallow this try. So he got held back to not make the tackle on Henry Pollock. Deprives him of getting to the ball, says the ref. So it's going to be another no try for Northampton. Hard to tell, he pretty much handed him the ball, says Geza. Yep, another no try. Alex Coles, he's already scored himself 2 tries. He's looking a bit confused by that one. Hamish is that unlucky. 2 tries, or 2 no tries, Pollock. A out and back obstructions. Here's Geza and caught up with the first half. Forget I recorded it. Rugby so corrupt, says Power Bite. And to be fair, I don't want other guys pulling my shirt when I don't have the ball, says on the right. That one has gone, or is in touch, I should say. My brain's gone to absolute blankness for the second half, apparently. But we better wake up. It's currently 3 a.m. here in New Zealand. And forward pass, says Ruth. Now throw on this one, nicely taken by Bordeaux. Maxime Luku going to Mofana. Big shot on him. Timo Mainavanua not returning out to the field after getting hit high by Diaby. It's been his 10 minutes in the bin, but now he is back out there. And breaking news, Hamish is definitely a feet guy. I'm really not. Feet just don't do anything for me other than let me walk on them. Now that's going to be a knock-on from Bordeaux. I think one of the commentators is getting pretty frustrated at the moment. He just said, and rather than like saying it was a knock-on, he said, oh, that was clearly a knock-on when Bordeaux did drop it. They're going to check something else here. TMO's coming in for a shot. That's Mofana getting hit here. This is nice, isn't it? This is what you want to see. Stoppages every few minutes. Chick, says Jimbo. And Hamish, what's your thoughts on the New World Club competition? Taking place in 2028. Hopefully will be successful. But yeah, I mean, it's probably a yellow card here. I think it's the number 19, the replacement for Timo Mainavanua and Ed Prowse. 2 in the bin, says Southkid. Did I say I was going to sleep a while ago? You did. But I guess you didn't. And 4 p.m. Ireland have Dino's Chipper Chips, curry and battered sausages, says Patrick. Not high degree of danger, but it is going to warrant a yellow card. And Prowse there will be off the field for 10 minutes. Now, we should mention Tommy Freeman is also still in the bin. In Northampton, you can see the frustration on the coaches' faces here. I don't think he actually touches his head, says Geza. And now Maxime Luku decision. They're going to Jalabert. And he's looking at the post, but they're playing a 13-man Northampton. I feel like they might go for the corner now. Oh, no. They've called for a shot already. So they have to go for the shot. We have got there. Let's go, boys. It's only 5 p.m. here. Hamish and Cape Town. Is it a final? Or it is a final. Take the points. Says Eric. Right, this is interesting. Jalabert actually getting relegated from the kicking tee. They have now gone to Maxime Luku. Ref dishing out yellows like he's trying to make a point. Says on the right. We have got the Hamish sent me inappropriate pics when I became a channel member. Says Rugby. I just don't think that happened, did it, Rugby? You do like stories, though. You told me to lose, we're going to win the Champions Cup, or at least make it further than Bordeaux, and look how that turned out. But this one now has gone over. 3 points for Bordeaux added to their tally. They move up to 23 points to 20. And yeah, the frustration there for Prowse off the bench. Probably wasn't going to be making his way onto the field up until around that 60 or so minutes. I need you to commentate as I'm watching in a Welsh-only pub. And they're too quick for me, says Vlesian. And now, chance here for Finn Smith to kick this one off. And it looks like the Saints are trying to retain their ball. Unable to get it. And Bordeaux now in possession again. There's that joke. The ref gave out less cards at Christmas. Sorry, I'll see myself out. Says Gezi drew that collision. I didn't have to go near the 6. And now that one's going to be a penalty going the way of Northampton. Which bench is stronger? It depends on what you're looking at. Because the likes of Bordeaux, I mean, they have some very talented players on there. They've got Ben Funa, who has made his way on already. Northampton have a pretty strong bench, but they had to use 3 of them very early in this contest. 3 making their way onto the field in the first half, 2 of which making their way onto the field within the first 10 minutes of the game. So I do think that for your bench anyway, you know, if you're starting to use those guys early, they lose a little bit of their impact for later in the contest. But Tommy Freeman, he will make his way back out onto the field. And we have the IC Namish a bunch of feet picks, says Powerbite. And Bordeaux best player is the ref, says Robin. And need a try now, Bordeaux, says Logan. And there as well, but nicely taken now by Northampton. On the halfway line, Finn Smith will kick this one high. This one's going to be chased after. If this one goes too far, well taken by Biarri. And now we'll go off to Damien Pinot. Kicks it in behind. That is a big boot. We'll pull up just in the field of play. Finn Smith running across. And now tries to kick it into touch. That is a poor kick though. And it gives the chance on the outside. Mofana, great hands. 15 metres out from the try line. Back to the right-hand side again. Pop pass up. Stepping from Biarri. Now Gelebeur finds the offload to Maxime Luku. 10 metres from the line now. If they can strike here with their man advantage, they could be up by 10 with a conversion. Stolen in the breakdown though from Pollock. And almost stolen straight back by Bordeaux. We have got the Finn Smith, come on lad, says Jimbo. Another Bordeaux player slapping a Northampton player on the back for holding him into the breakdown. And Luku try, says Ruth. Now, Alex Mitchell. Across to the left. They are really having to dig deep here, Northampton, and they give away the penalty in the breakdown. No clear release. So Pinot about to take the quick tap, or at least he considered it. They do still have that man advantage. We over there, go on Pollock. Says Powerbite and UBB taking over now. Says Studs Race. Does look like maybe an injury here for Trevor Davis, and he's trying to shake his head saying he can continue. That looked like he was bleeding from either his mouth or just below it. They have kicked this one for the corner here, Bordeaux. So this is a different mindset than we saw just before. They called for the T initially for that last one, which is why they had to go for it. But now it seems like the corner is where they'd like to attack. You're going to throw it in 5 metres out from the line. Well taken by Bordeaux. See Ben Funa joining in there. This is going to be a hard rolling mortar stop. They go over and they get themselves another try. Okay, it sounds like they want it to be checked. Maxime Luku slaps the ball out of the hands of the Northampton player and says, I'll be taking that and I want to take a shot at the post. I know, right? He's amazing just to look at him. Hope Carberry comes on and scores the winner, says Rugby. Yeah, I don't think he's in either side's lineup for this match. Now just rolling forward, really nicely done. Oh, okay, the ball has been dropped from Lemouth. Right, this is going to be a very interesting, another TMO. I think that this is the most we've seen a TMO involved in a game in quite some time. And just after I wrote about the frozen scorecard, it changed typical. says on the right. Even the back's piled in, says Geza. Right, they're going to be checking this one again to see whether or not there is a knock. The ball definitely gets dislodged, but it's whether or not the tip of the ball touches the line first. See, that looks like something's still hanging on to that ball. Maybe his other hand, we need... Okay, no, from that angle, it looks like it's knocked away. But the question is, how did it get dislodged? Who was in there? That'll be something else they're checking. If Bordeaux have butchered this one, says Geza, yeah, look like a try for all money. Okay, loses control of the ball. This is going to be a no try. You can give a yellow. For a drop, the red would be doing that exactly right now. Says on the right. And we have got there, the ref was a bit too quick on that whistle toward the try, says Jameson. And is that the Welsh Principality Stadium on your background, Hamish? It is indeed. That is the location that this game is taking place. It is a neutral location for the final. Oh yeah, Rufus here, says Robert. It's a great tight contest, but officiating makes it a little painful, says Studs Ray. And no grounding that I can see, so it is going to be no try. Oh, Lamouf is not happy. He is now charging straight towards the ref. And he's going to have a conversation with him. Loses the control, so it will be Northampton. Oh, okay, so one of the commentators saying that there could have been an action that would have given Bordeaux a penalty try, but they did already have the advantage, I should have mentioned. So it is actually going to be another 5-metre line out. Lamouf, they're going to try the exact same move again, but this time they will want to get it right. And well, I know they've come back for a penalty, says Geza. And Mofana has a rush of blood to the head. Says power bite, but now they're rolling more once again. This is going to be very hard to stop. Lamouf goes, no, he's short of the line and he's popped it into the hands of the Saints. That is a massive mistake from Bordeaux again. They've been all but over that try line, but just haven't been able to finish it. Is it about control or is it about separation? Downward pressure depends on who the officials are, as they do seem to look for different things. Biel Biarri does take this one quickly. A lot of open space to be able to run into. Nice step, but he's shut down in a very early shot from Dingwall. Now Luku knocks the ball on, sits up into the hands of the Saints, and Bordeaux just try and rip that one straight back and turned over. Saints did that against Leinster. Says Geza, but the Saints are starting to fire up. It's as if a couple of the moments at the start of the second half has got them angry. And they're just trying to find that next level. And I think they've found the motivation to be able to do so. Right, time is off, but not for a TMO checker. At least I hope it's not. Oh, okay, no. Mofana's done a little bit of a dirtiness there in the breakdown. He's got the guy high. That's quite bad from Mofana. It's not the best thing we've ever seen in a breakdown. There has to be a twist, is the call there from the referee. So you're allowed to hold a guy around the neck as long as you don't twist it. That's pretty much what the ref said there. So that's good. We have got there, Defence Wins Championships is on the right. And UBB need to calm down, too frantic, says Jimbo. Well, they're such an explosive side that when they get an attack going, it normally doesn't get stopped. He's got him around the neck. He's trying to throttle him. Says Geza. And oh my, I've seen this movie before from Bordeaux. They need to compose themselves because the Saints have the game to take advantage. Says Studs Rays. And Mofana has a brain twister at the moment, says Ruth. Looks like Coleman has made his way off for Bordeaux, so starting to use a couple more of their subs that they have got available. Oh, both sides standing up. We have got where's South Africa this week, knockouts next week. Says Gold Story. Yep, so URC quarterfinals taking place next weekend. And these are the matches that are happening. First one is Glasgow versus the Stormers. That will be on the Friday night for you guys in South Africa at 8:35. Glasgow at home up against the Stormers. Leinster versus Scarlets. The winner of that game will advance, face the winner of that first match. And then two South African sides at home for the Sharks, Munster, and Bulls versus Edinburgh. We have got there who are the Barbarians playing with Sam Kane and Mahani. Says Rugby. I know that Barbarians have a game up against the South Africans, don't they? The ref is struggling. Says Ephraim. They are just showing there James Ram, unfortunately having the early injury, only 2 minutes or 3 into this contest. Beautiful take there from Tommy Freeman. Now, he will also be fired up. He got sent off the field earlier on for a yellow card. He'll be fresh for the second half. What did I start? Or what did I say? That Mofana was about to have a rush of blood to the head. Accurate predictions here. That one's going to be kicked in behind. A very nice kick, and the voice is already starting to cut out. I've still got 28 minutes to go. How we have there, Mofana got away with that. He did, yeah. But the ref pretty much said, you know, go around the neck, just don't twist it. That's the big thing. You're not allowed to twist a player's neck. Now Ben Tamefuna running the ball up to 10 metres out from the line. Can when the Saints go marching in song, or too soon for that? Haven't heard a chant like that yet, or at least not in the last little while. I think they might be eagerly awaiting that full-time whistle to then be able to fire it up if they are winning. And come on, Bordeaux, keep it together, says Cameron. And we have got the hello, cool story. Where are you going today? Says Ruth. Now line out here for Curtis Langdon. They're down by 3 at the moment, Northampton. They also have one less man on the field. Now, going to start their attack from 40 out. Alex Mitchell going for the little kick him behind. Well handled by Damien Pinot. As the mark was scored, they normally sing when they are pushing for a try. Says on the right. And do you have a preferred lozenge? Nah, not really. If I'm being honest, nice attack and run forward from Northampton. Going off to the right-hand side. Tommy Freeman runs straight at Mofana. Up to the halfway line. Still another 26 minutes remaining. Counter ruck coming from Bordeaux. Looked like there might have been a knock-on in the breakdown there. I'm not sure whether it was Northampton or Bordeaux, but now the advantage goes the way of this Bordeaux side. Now Maxime Luku getting this one back across to the left-hand side. Jalabert, skip pass now, finds Deportier on the outside. Big shot. Retier moving up to 22 metres out from the line. One of the Bordeaux players just fell right on off his feet and tried to pretty much just crush one of the Northampton guys. Luku going back across to the left-hand side here again. Oh, Biarre. Short, flat pass to Pete Samu. And there's another advantage. Sitting 10 metres out from the try line. Northampton haven't actually got their man back on the field from their last yellow card, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see another for them in the near future. Here comes Ben Tamefuna. 3 metres out from the line. Luku with a pick and go. Good shot on him by Josh Kimini. Being told to get out of it there for Northampton, but they are still playing under penalty advantage for Bordeaux. They're going to throw the big old forwards at the try line, and there is a grounding. And it is Cyril Chazot who has got the try. This ref is killing the game, says Ephraim. And offside where, says Ephraim there too. And there is no alcohol limit in Johannesburg. It all depends on what you can pay the cops, says Robert. Whereas the play halfway line says on the right, it is now over the try line. Being Cummins says, Geza missed the biggest forward pass. Yeah, we're going to sit here. Okay, that angle that they chose to show doesn't really show it as a forward pass, but the other angle did. And game is not exciting. Players take too long with a try, says Logan. Yeah, the crowd were booing that pass from Biarre. He got the ball reaching behind him, says Geza. Now Maxime Luku, chance here. And really not checking that. Well, they've checked everything else, which makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, oh, that one's missed away to the side for Maxime Luku. It will make the score now 28 points to 20. We have got their worst timing for a YouTube ad, but it was for cheap Lego. Had to watch in full. Well, hopefully you were able to find some some decent Lego deals. Lego's quite expensive, to be fair, so got to find the cheap stuff. Still 23 minutes left. Northampton back to having 15 men on the field. It's been a trend that they haven't really been able to keep for this match too often at all. But now Maxime Luku just outside of the 22, ball being rolled back by Bordeaux once again. Maxime Luku, good strike. That's gone over the head of the Saints players. I don't think they were anticipating as powerful of a box kick down the park from Luku. Tommy Freeman from inside of his 22 will look to find touch, but is unable to do so. The game's getting loose now. Yet it's all starting to break down for this last 20 minutes, and that's when the fatigue will start to really set in for these two sides. And like I mentioned multiple times throughout this match, we have seen Northampton with less than 15 men on the field, so that will start to be fatiguing. It's been played at a frantic pace. Lego's overrated. Changed my mind. Says Power Bite. It's very hard to get apart once you put it together, I will say that. But now, charging forward again. Kicking it in behind. Looking for the 50-22. Too much on it, though, from Retier, and that will go dead, so they will lose about 60 metres here, Bordeaux. And it gives the Saints a great attacking opportunity as they need the next try. And thanks, Hamish. I was so into the game, I forgot to fetch my son from a birthday party. Home now for the last 20 minutes. Says Super Dan Chris. Yeah, very close game for that first half. Sitting 20-20 at half time. Connor Sarr, I think, has made his way on, has he? Or are they leaving him off for a bit longer? I think that, in fact, it might just be the props that they're changing at this point. Or the loose head in particular. There's a tool for that. Says Lilia B. And we have there more points, Bordeaux. Says Long and Roberts. It's a shame that I've missed this entire game, says Bill. The good news is you've got the last quarter. And that's when it's really going to get interesting for these two teams. We'll see who's starting to slow down, who's able to get to that next level. Getting tougher here for the Saints. Says Eric. And 20 points to 30. Missed the kick for Maxime Luku. So sitting 28. That's the penalty to Bordeaux at scrum time. It was the Saints' feed. And Ben Tame Funa, the big man at the front, manages to win the penalty for his team. I need a big set piece here, so that's pretty much the exact opposite of what the Saints were able to do. They fed the ball and got it out the back, and then to get penalised. What's the penalty count? The whistle in this game. I'm not 100% sure. I'll quickly see if I can find the penalty count. It's been high, though, throughout this one. Now, looking like it's going to be the line out just around the 22-metre line. Where are we? There we go. So, in terms of the match stats, discipline, 10 penalties against the Saints. Although that might be wrong, because if they had 3 yellow cards or just the 2? But 10 penalties on the website, 6 against Bordeaux. Now Bordeaux moving only a couple metres out. There's another advantage. That's going to be number 11. This referee has decided Saints can't win a close decision. Says Fleshin. Now Maxime Luku. That's not his best pass, but it's picked up nicely. Sitting still 5 metres out. There was a knock on, so they will go back for another penalty here. And come on, Northampton, says Power Bite. And fun fact, Ben Tamefuna used to be a ballroom dancing enthusiast. He entered competitions. Says Power Bite. And Bordeaux will regret not converting those points after scoring tries, says Dennis. Although this could be the big finishing blow here. You think if they score now, 15-point lead going into the last 18 minutes, it'll be pretty tough to come back from that. It was Henry Pollock who was penalised. He has had far from his best game throughout this matchup. He's had 2 disallowed tries as well, to be fair, so hasn't gone the best for him at the Principality. Another change being made. Curtis Langdon will make his way off, and that is going to be for Craig Wright, who's already screaming at his 4-pack, trying to fire them up. Literally never getting a call for the rest of the match. So here's Freem. And also we see Angus Scott Young making his way on for Northampton too. Yeah, I'm very intrigued in the way that this Maxime Lemouth throws the ball, because he starts off the field. Oh no, he stayed in the position that time. Must only be his long throw that he steps in field. Now, trying to get this rolling maul moving for Bordeaux. Now Maxime Luku goes off to Mofana, pop past to Jalebeur, who hasn't got it once again, going back for another penalty. I'm not even sure what this one's for. Okay, number 9 or number 7 playing the 9. New law, you can't do that. So one of the newer laws in World Rugby. We've got quite a few that change day by day. Okay, and now Northampton getting their last warning. Pollock's been absent. Is this a Georgian referee? He is indeed. And we have got there, how's that offside, says Ephraim. And Pollock isn't good, all hype, like Arundel was, says Bill. Now, ready to kick this one into touch again here. Bordeaux will once again go for that rolling maul. That is playing the 9, though, the penalty. The ref's acting in a comedy movie, says Ruth. Concerned look on the face of Jalebeur there, which was quite interesting. I feel like he shouldn't have too much to be concerned about. They're up by 8, about to be 15. If this one rolls that little bit closer to the try line, Bordeaux are close. They're held up for now, just short of the try line, and I think it's going to be a scrum for the Saints. Yes, it is. That is a massive, massive moment for Northampton. And come on, says Ephraim. Has been worse than Holly Davison was yesterday, or has he been worse than Holly Davison was yesterday, says Bill. I didn't actually get to see the one that Holly Davison was reffing as of yet. And Northampton used to saying, what's the coming over the hill? Is it a Tongan? It is, or is it a Tongan? To the tune of Monster, says Power Bite. So who was the Tongan that they were chanting for? And Saints not giving up, says Lilia B. There's that defence that did for Leinster, or they did for Leinster. Said Jimbo, and Pollock's got great potential. I just don't expect miracles in his first season, says Suds Race. Right, once again, a little bit of a huddle there from Bordeaux. They were able to win the last scrum penalty. Okay, Ben Tamefuna just talking to the referee there about the scrum. Leo Cullen needs to go, Jimbo. Says Raby and Holy Smokes Saints is good, says Robert T. They have a lot of heart. That's one thing about this Saints side that cannot be denied. Like, they have been up against it at times of this one in terms of, you know, having yellow cards, having mistakes with the ball in hand, but they still look like a side that want to be there and want to get back into this contest. 8 points is tough. Pollock's already done miracles, mate. What? Says Ephraim. The big winger for Northampton, says Bowbot. And how much time left? Still another 17 and a half minutes remaining. So plenty of time. But I think that one more Bordeaux converted try ends this game. That's pretty much my prediction there. 14 entries into the 22 from Bordeaux. 7 from the Saints. And check out the same Underhill headbutt from last night. Holly Davison needs a rest. Says Jimbo. Was she on the TMO or was she the main ref on the field? Because if it was a headbutt, did they go upstairs and check it? We have got their 18s going to go straight off his feet again. Watch. Here's Ephraim. Now big push this time from the Saints, and they get a scrum penalty back once again, trying to make a statement. It's Emmanuel Ayogun. And Bordeaux, keep your cool head. Says Logan Roberts. Little time left, game not over. And huge, says Ephraim. That one's kicked in a touch. Holly was the ref. So who was the TMO in that one? And Bordeaux, we need a try. Says Logan. Line out here for Craig Wright. Goes in and nicely taken by Northampton. Henry Pollock goes across to Mitchell. They have got men on the outside. Finn Smith, we've hardly seen him throughout this matchup, but that is how, I guess, crucial the defence of Bordeaux getting in there early has been to be able to shut down this Northampton backline. Once again, Mitchell goes off to the short side. Come on, Northampton, says Power Bite. Was I right that Bowden Barrett will pull away? Oh, sorry, not Bowden Barrett. That used to be BB and Bowden, but that Bordeaux will pull away. I'm not sure about pulling away. One more try would do it. But I do still think Northampton have one more try in them at least here. She took the decision away from the TMO. Oh, okay, so the TMO said something, then she decided against it, I assume. Which is interesting, because normally the refs don't get the opportunity to do that. Normally a lot of them would just agree with their TMO. Having to say Bordeaux have covered across amazingly. Says Ephraim, yeah, the defence has been impeccable at times throughout this match. Yes, there were a couple gaps early on, but it seems like they've really just found their feet in this game. And it does seem like their game to lose at the moment. Whether or not the Saints can dig deeper, though, and just keep themselves in this contest, try and get that last-minute winner. Jalabert, now best 10 in France, says Rugby. And Saints still in it, says Robert, exactly right. And now they are attacking with the set piece going out on the right-hand side. Tommy Freeman left with a bit of space, gets it a slate home. He does move up to the 22 as he is tackled by Biarray. Now Mitchell, drop ball though from the Saints. Angus Scott Young. I think his comment there was, what was that? Fill in the blank. And it was a terrible pass, to be fair. Massive scrum there, says Bleshin. Interbank not the same after injury, says Rugby. It was a busy day here. How were the other games, says Xander. So we did see in the Super Rugby game, the Chiefs won up against Moana Pacifica, 85 points to 7. Which actually, yeah, that's the scoreline that we saw. Alongside that, there was also a win for the Task, 22 points to 17 over the Force. I know that's the point man. The point man fault there. He screamed for it and then left it. Says Ephraim. I know he hasn't said, he says Cameron for Intermac. And did the Saints come from behind against Leinster? They did start off in the lead. I don't think they were behind too often in that game, though. They kind of stayed in the lead after a big start, and then Leinster tried to catch up, but never quite did. Okay, referee's just said he understands that the front rows are tired. I think they just made their way onto the field. But we'll see how this one goes, because it is being very closely watched now. I can't believe Moana Pacifica lost so badly. Did you just say Angus Scott Young? Is that Sam's kid? Awesome back row, says Scott. So yeah, from the... Is that the Reds, wasn't he? Angus Scott Young, I believe. He's been playing his rugby overseas. Also played for Bay of Plenty, I think it was, in the Bunnings NPC here in New Zealand. So really getting around the world, playing a bit of rugby at the moment, trying to hone his craft. But now, Mitchell. Was that a tackle in the air? The last one was. It's off his own pass. That's been given as a penalty before, though. We see multiple of those given. But in this case, it's been ruled differently. It doesn't matter if it's off your own pass. That's a tackle in the air. It's a penalty every day of the week. It's the stupidest rule out, but it is a penalty. It's the one that it's probably one of the rules that I do want to change. Right, he has changed the decision, and it becomes the penalty now to Northampton. As dad was a savage, says Scott Robertson. All off their feet. Oh, that's a yellow card in the first half. That's true. Didn't pull out of it. But now, Tommy Freeman, Finn Smith, I should say, going to be kicking this one towards the touchline. Thank God, says Ephraim. This referee is a nightmare and got away with that, though. Says Ephraim in there as well. There's a boring game for a Champions Cup final, says Rugby. I feel like the last 10 minutes is definitely going to heat up, but for it to heat up the most, we need to see a try here or some form of points for Northampton so that it's within the 7 points. It's just a timing issue, says Jimbo there. Now off to the right-hand side. In fact, now it is right off to Ollie Slate home. The Saints, 12 minutes. Alex Coles, he's already scored 2 tries. We were mentioned about the chance of a hat-trick for Damien Pinot, but Coles could theoretically get in there. And Samu, the boy, Is going to be a good addition to the Wallaby. Oh, sorry, good addition, says Robert T. Now Mitchell goes with a short ball. They need the clean out coming in though. Angus Scott Young joining there. Now a bit of a spin, 7 metres out from the line. This is a very good chance and probably the best chance the Saints have almost had of the second half to score a try. Tame Funa trying to get in the breakdown after Scott Young hits it up. Good quick hands, finds Dingwall. Bordeaux once again trying to get that steal. Mitchell, I think, tried to milk the penalty and it's gone into the hands of Bordeaux. Ref getting shouted at by Mitchell. And Saints need a miracle, says Toby Hart. Now, this Bordeaux side will be able to just continue trying to attack. They've actually decided to keep this ball in the field of play. Bouncing awkwardly. Here comes the pace of Biel Pierre. This is going to be a very important foot race, but he gets back for the Saints number 22. Tom Litchfield close to the steal and the breakdown too. Every breakdown's been that way. That could have cost them the game. Says Rugby. This Rivers boy, he's definitely got a bias. Taking the TMO to correct him. Says Fleshin. Now, Henry Pollock. Tackled 25 metres out. They've lost about 75 metres there, the Northampton Saints. They were on hot attack and now they are only opting for the kick down field. Every single French defender diving it off their feet. WTF ref says Jimbo. Ollie Slateholm on the ball, told to get out of it. He looks over in frustration. But now, Bordeaux, Maxime Luku going for another box kick. That one looks like it might go a little bit too deep. Oh, Pinot's forced the error though. Mitchell manages to jump on it. And that was close, and Bordeaux will get the steal. It's a very strategic breakdown from Damien Pinot there. Played the man, was about to join it, which pretty much shut down any chance of the Saints getting that getting that clean out going. And we have there, can't see Northampton scoring. No, I think that not being able to get their try was pretty much the big one. Right, that one's going to be kicked into touch by Jalabert. Oh, time is off again. Should win here. 8 points means a converted try and a drop goal penalty for the Saints. I will say this, referees and rugby are corrupt. Says power bite. We're going to see the replay here. Alex Mitchell going for the ball. Pinot put the pressure on. Oh, he knocked the ball on Damien Pinot. Right. Okay, they are going back for it now. There was the clear knock on, they say, so this one will be corrected. Okay, I think Bordeaux was saying, but can we still have the penalty? And Reef said, no. No, you can't. And Saints man just cramping up. Not surprising, says Geza. We have got there 10 minutes left, says Eric. And Northern Hemisphere scrum, says Jonathan. Over there, every losing team blame the ref. To be fair, watching from a neutral perspective for this game, the refereeing has been very below par. Like, yes, it might not change the result of this contest, but it's definitely not been as... It's just lacked confidence. You know, a lot of the decisions, and it's tricky for the ref who's out there on the field when you've had about 4 or 5 of your decisions corrected, because then you start questioning whether or not you're getting it right, and then that can lead to more indecision. Good morning, says Gatsanel. And our penalty goes the way of the Saints at scrum time again. And we have got there, Pinot looks like an accountant that can run really fast. Says Rugby. Where's Georgia and USA? I know it's Eastern Europe, says Ruth. And now it's the TMO. How was the TMO this weekend? Overwhelming still. Better than previous game days. He's been not too bad, the TMO. Heavily involved throughout this match. Overthrown by the Saints. And once again, the chance that they needed has gone wrong. They're going to try this repeat play. This time, Pinot is going to be... Oh, no, he's knocked it on again. They'll go back and there'll be another scrum. Or is there? Okay, advantage for the knock-on. Referee has one team, TMO has the other. This has been a nightmare. And the linemen should know how to control game. The ref has been completely inconsistent, says Robin. And the TMO says Patrick there. Yeah, see, Alex Mitchell's dragged him down. So if we're looking at consistency, this would probably be a penalty against Mitchell for playing Damien Pinot here. So once again, it's going to be another stoppage, and the TMO will be involved. I believe this will be a penalty. Just checking to see whether or not he's got a realistic attempt to be able to catch the ball here. I don't think he is. Mission Impossible is better than this game. I'll have to watch that in the cinema later. I know that's a pen says A-frame. Yeah, it is. Now, my question is, are they going to rule that in the same way that they ruled Tommy Freeman's tackle in the air? Or the same way that they ruled the Bordeaux tackle in the air earlier? This may even be a yellow, says A-frame. It would not surprise me one bit. It's going to just be a penalty. And who's this ref afternoon all, says Kieran. So referee is... Oh, okay, Mitchell trying to say that he was looking at the ball, but it is a Mushkeli from Georgia. The referee for this one, Bordeaux there to win. And Rassi said he wants the field, wants two refs on the field with scrums. Don't know how practical it will be, says Xander. Now kicked into touch. Bordeaux once again, this is a great chance to be able to secure this game. 8 minutes remaining. And it's only a matter of time if they keep on getting these chances just out from the line. They'll be able to score. Mofana's been taken off. Jansi Funds Rensburg. He has made his way on. There's a knock-on from Bordeaux again. There's now 3 knock-ons within the 22 in the last little while. As Jalibert looks like a waiter in a Parisian bistro. Rev also need match time. Says Robert, stop kicking to the corner, says A-Frame. Yeah, you wonder whether or not eventually they might just consider going for the 3-pointers here. But I guess they want to really secure this game. Apparently, Pinot is a really goofy and funny guy off the pitch, says Power Bite. And what does the XP these new icons mean? I'm not actually 100% sure. I think it's like chat XP, but I don't know how it works. And I don't think there's a way of turning it off. What's this? TMO's come in. Oh, no. Okay. Right, Langdon's making his way on. The TMO, I think they said, actually told him... Well, surely that was a doctor who told him then, not the TMO, that they have to bring him on for the HIA. And Bordeaux need to make paint or point gap wider, says Logan. No, only a sub, says Geza. And out of the Chiefs fair against Pacifica, they bet them 85 points to 7. So they absolutely smashed them, I think is the best way of describing that one. Bring on Carberry to end the game. Carberry is not on the bench in this contest. But kick meters over 1,000 for Bordeaux compared to the 829 that was seen from the Northampton Saints. And right will help, said Jonathan. A ball fed in by Alex Mitchell. They're only 10 metres out from the line. They've tried another big push, but this time Bordeaux holds strong. They will have to try and work it out from their own 22 here. Attack and run from Dingwall. Now Mitchell is across to the short side and the penalty for offside. As Bordeaux, they were still retreating from that last scrum. Let's go French few minutes. As the time 73 correct or less time. Now it's 74 minutes gone in this match. It'll be funny if Carberry wins it after his time at Munster, says Jimbo. Finn Smith looks like he's taken a bit of a knock to the side of the eye too. It's been some heavy hits. Nobody wants to lose this. Okay, it's now or never, says A-Frame. Yeah, if they don't score some form of points, I would say before 77 minutes, it's going to be extremely tricky. Oh, it's all working Leinster win now. Still in the URC. So that is the big one that they'll be focused on. I was so tired of Moana Pacifica Worship. Giving Hardy the best player prize early. It's just sad. Says Power Bite. Thoroughly deserved, though, to be fair, the way that he has played throughout the season. But yeah, they should wait till the end of the season before doing like a player of the tournament type situation. That one's going to be popped off to the right-hand side. Tommy Freeman goes across to Ollie Slade home, and that one's gone into touch off Biel Biarri. Another line out here. Didn't realise he wasn't on the bench. Not sure if he's injured or what. says Rugby. Is Carberry injured? Not sure. I know that for the number 22 in this game, they went for Arthur Retire. I get too much tongue roll going there, and then I can't say the rest of his name. Good Lord, this ref is ruining this game, says Flesh, and that's going to be not straight from Northampton for their line out. Thank you very much, Robert V. Greatly appreciated for your generosity. Bordeaux got this, says Cameron. And Hamish, are you getting some sleep? Probably a few hours of sleep around the corner, I'd say. And also, okay, so just over 5 minutes to get 8 points. Saints leaving it too late. And yes, Saints jumping across. Made it look worse too, says A. Freeman. Bad line out, says Jonathan. Yeah, the last thing that you want now. But that's the thing, like, Langdon's just made his way back on after the HIA. So I think that will be his first line out throw in about 30 minutes. And it showed, unfortunately. I figured out I can use my Google points. That's quite cool. I didn't know that that was a feature. But yeah, thank you very much. It looks like Lomax is just peering at us just over the side. Oh, we have got the bad time to have your first faulty line out, says Geza. Now, kicking this one in behind the Saints inside of the 22. Nicely taken by Tommy Freeman, trying to get around Bielbari. But he does make the low tackle. Counter-ruck coming from Bordeaux. Knocked on there. It will be another scrum now. And 3 drop goals, is it realistic? No. I think that 3 points could be on the cards at some point. But they'll have to make the decision of when to go for it, because they also need that try. Giving Artie the best player prize earlier, that's something kids come up with in stories they write. It's like Artie's grandma is in charge of Super Rugby. Well, I think it's the player's player prize, isn't it? Because you can only earn a certain amount of points per season, or per game, sorry. So I think it's just the fact that he was that far ahead that no one was going to be able to catch him because of just the 1 round left. So I think it's just based off the fact that it wasn't mathematically possible for anyone to catch up with him. As the players all vote for, or it might have even been the fan one, but one of them was the fact that he was too far ahead that no one can get to him. And now, oh, that one's gone down. Another penalty to Northampton. Finn Smith will be able to kick this one towards the touchline again. Brilliant from 12 there, says Freem. MS team winning this, but officials depriving us neutrals of an open game, says Jimbo. Yeah, it's been very stop-start. Much more so than I think anyone was really hoping for. Still relatively close. And maybe there's a late bit of drama that we might see it as over, says Eric. Yeah, there's only 2 minutes left. If Northampton want to win, they have to score right now. Mitchell, oh, that's going to be knocked on though, and that, yeah, probably is going to be the last moment. At Northampton, Cook says John MC, best team winning. And keep momentum, Bordeaux. Maxim Luku already throwing his hands up. He's celebrating it like it is a victory, but they still have to get through the scrum. So they've had a few shaky moments and went back, says Freem. And also, now go please Bordeaux, says Logan. And yeah, terrible game, says Rugby. And it is over, says Eric. And who Bordeaux got next? So back in the top 14, they have got Toulon in their next contest. So that is going to be in, it says 8 days' time. And I think that actually is the case, isn't it? 7:05 a.m. on Monday morning here in New Zealand. They've got one more round after that. And then after that, we go into the playoffs of the top 14. For Northampton, they've got one more game up against Gloucester. That is next week at 2:05 a.m. That is overlapping with the URC quarterfinals. How much time is left? Just the 90. In fact, a little bit more than that. 110 seconds remaining. And about 60 of those are probably going to go into the scrum, which I would not be surprised if we see a reset here, which will take that little bit more time out of the game too. I've had a French ref today, says Freem. And Bordeaux likely to do the double this year, says Rugby. And Toulon next for Bordeaux. I should go back to studying. I regret pushing back on on schoolwork. Says Katzenel, and semi-finals was so good, says Studs Race. And this is breathtaking, says Logan. Maxine Luku, he has received player of the match for this one. He has had quite the impact throughout this matchup. Impossible to win after losing 2 lineouts, says Jonathan. And yeah, just the 90 seconds left. And the scrum now holds strong. Rolling this one off to the right-hand side. Chance here. Jalabert, cross kick, but no, he's jumped into that one again. So surely that's not going to be the penalty this time. Kicked him behind. Finn Smith calls the mark. Takes the quick tap and decides to keep this game moving. Looks for the offload. Ball is loose. Picked up now. They're retreating to pretty much their own line. Ollie Slateholm tries to send it as far downfield as he can. He's disappointed though, because I feel like in that case you just have to run it. You've got a minute left on the clock. Bordeaux is celebrating in the coaching box as they have probably just won this, unless we see some sort of full field try. But I think that this will use up as many seconds as they can to get out of this line out. Luku is like the Beatles, Dupont is like wings. How we have got there, I still don't understand how Toulon lost to Bordeaux, says Kieran. And Luku doesn't age, it's been 50 years old since he was 15, says Rugby. And too late for a last-minute yellow card to fulfill the ref's new fetish. It would be unlucky if they'd got one more, but Northampton managing to steal that line out, which does mean they've got 20 seconds to score twice. Now, that is near on impossible. They will have to go for a drop goal from halfway here to get into this game, and it looks like they aren't going to be able to try it. Pop pass up from Alex Coles, 8 seconds remaining. Are they going to go for it? They have to do something. Finn Smith, I don't know if they know the exact time on the clock, but also, I guess, going for a drop goal right at the end. Great run from Slateholm. That is the 80-minute siren, though, that we are now hearing, which does mean Bordeaux, they will win this Champions Cup final. One last chance here out wide for the Saints. It goes too far and it wrestles, or goes into touch, and Bordeaux have won the Champions Cup for 2025. Biel, Biarri, Damien Pinot, those two were on fire out there on the field. They were everywhere today for that Bordeaux backline. Maxime Luku, what a game for him. I mentioned about it, he's been the understudy for Dupont, but now he's trying to be the main guy. Henry Pollock having a push and a shove there with one of the Bordeaux guys. I don't know what's happened between those two, but there are some tensions. And it almost broke into a bit of a fight. And Fred Fry's Northampton, says Robert Wood there. Henry Pollock, he's saying someone grabbed him by the throat there after the game. So that'll be an interesting one to see what comes of that. They knocked out the champs. Now they are the champs. Says Lilia B. Also should have been a red for that shoulder to the head. Says A. Freem and Pollock back in his box. And Pollock let he grow up, says Eric there. And congrats, Bordeaux, great team and the Saints team. Put in a great performance, full of heart, says Thuds Rays. Yeah, just the 8 points throughout the second half. It certainly wasn't what I was predicting. I thought when we had 20 points to 20 at halftime, we were going to see a game that just kept on going and kind of ramped up in the intensity. But we just didn't really see that. We saw a lot more mistakes coming. Maxime was man of the match when France played Ireland, says Dennis there. Yeah, he picks the big games to step up, and this was certainly one of those occasions where he was able to do just that. Maxime Luku having a big chat there with Henry Pollock. I feel like that's possibly a little, not so much a passing of the torch, but that's more experience and youth having a bit of a chat there. But nonetheless, that is the end of this match, ladies and gents. They have won the Champions Cup, Bordeaux 28 points to 20. If you did enjoy this live stream, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We will be back next week with Super Rugby as well as the Champions Cup. So be sure to tune into those. But thank you all very much for being here. And I will see you all for the next one.